Hello, folks. Thank you for joining once again. Hey, we got an evening run here, a Friday evening run. I have extended some invitations specifically to specific YouTubers out there. The invitations that I sent out were I wanted to have a panel of YouTube collectors that had collected or were collecting or at one point were collecting Hot Toys about 10 years ago, around the Bespin 2012 timeframe area, so that we can discuss and kind of share our thoughts and our prayers going into this Bespin Luke that was just recently announced with Hot Toys. My first guest, because I'm going to have Mario, I'm going to have a PJ from Paradox Nerd, Mario ElProfessoro, but our first one is Optical 20. Thank you so much, Optical. I know it was very short notice to get you on this short notice evening run here. I really wanted to do it specifically today because I know it's just a trending topic. So thank you so much.
Of course, anytime.
Absolutely. Can you hear me okay? Is my audio coming in good? Okay, good. We'll have we got the panel. Look at that. No checking in at all. We're not doing the midnight run, so no check-ins. Look at this. Oh, the Hater Loring. Look at him. Boy, he's just sour. You purposely scheduled this on fly back from look at this. I don't know when you're look, you know. You got to keep up with the trends. Love this. It is a surprise run. Very surprise run. Hello, everybody. Carlito was wondering what's take on you, Luke. We're going to talk about that. We're going to this evening run. We're going to just discuss one topic. We're going to discuss Luke Skywalker, specifically Bespin Luke. We're going to talk about the initial first release, which was the DX07, and then the current 2022 version here. Thank you, Jedi Knight. Thank you, Mitzelplix. Hello there. Hello, Lokaloo. Still checking in. I love it. CBS Sci-Fi, 3:10 a.m. in a town called Bolton.
Ooh,
hello, everybody. Hello. All right. Hello, Eric. Hello, Fat Man Collecting. Hello, everybody in the chat. 10-11 here in the east in the Valley of the Smokies. Hope all is well in the desert. Howdy, Kenobi. Great to catch you live. Optical, everybody. Lokaloo says, hey, Optical. Very nice. Negan, ex-Army, Panhandle of Florida. You know what lives in the Panhandle? UFOs, right? Gulf Breeze. That's where the UFO. Yeah, I've seen the videos. They live out there. Hello, Sean. Thank you for joining in. Well, we got folks coming in. I'm traveling to work. See, it is a surprise stream, Lokaloo. Mario. Oh, look at that.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Thank you so much, Mario. I know it's such short notice.
Nah, for sure, man. I thought we were starting in a couple minutes, and I realized we were live right now.
That's okay. It was my fault. I didn't plan this ahead, but I knew I had this idea. I wanted a panel of veteran collectors. I wanted collectors that were there during history, that remember the first DX07 drop. And one thing I made specific is I was going to ask whether or not you have the DX07 or you bought it. Don't answer that yet, though. But yeah, it was all specific. Who was there? Who went through the original DX? Not a reissue buy. Hey, I ended up buying the DX07 3 years ago. These are my thoughts. No, who was there?
I was there, Gandalf. I was there 3,000 years ago.
I was setting it up for that. I had to set that up for that. Is PJ? Okay, he's probably gonna be late. Local Surfer Rosa, 10 a.m. Perth. No checking in though, but I do appreciate the check-ins because I'm always curious to know where you folks are coming in from all around the world. Massachusetts, Mario, ElProfessoro. Am I saying that right, Professor?
Mm-hmm.
I am saying that.
It's technically not even a word. I just, but
I figured that. I figured you were.
Not.
I'm
just going with it.
Good evening, Kenobi. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. All right, I think we're caught up. All right. Before I get to me, though, I want to start off with Optical 20. Did you buy the DX07 when it was originally released?
That was what, like 2012, maybe?
It went into pre-order in 2011.
Okay.
And it was released fall of 2012. It was actually a very fast DX release, from what I gathered. And it retailed for $299. So I remember I think on 1/6 Mafia's stream I said it would retail for $250. I was wrong. It was $300. And it's important to really show what this figure went for almost a decade ago at this retail price, so that current collectors now understand what's changed as far as the price point and so forth. And when a collector says 285 is a lot, well, look at what it was going for 10 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, 10 years ago, I did not pre-order this.
Okay.
I believe this is the time where Avengers were slowly, getting there. And there was really no hype for Star Wars back then.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, the Kenobi back then, 300 was a little too much.
It was.
It is, like it was shocking because, and that was the day when there was no tax. Shipping was like $5.
$5-10 the most.
Yeah. And then we're getting this coupon code, $25, for if you buy something. So 300 was a bit of a shock, I guess, for me. I was just starting off back then, Bane was like 170, something like that, maybe 180. So, having $300 plus there's Star Wars wasn't a thing back then. So I was just like, yeah, I don't know. But obviously looking back at it now, it's two figures for 300. That's crazy.
That's a fair. Okay, that was a surprise. How about you, Mario? Did you pre-order this back in the day?
No, I didn't pre-order it just because I was actually late. I didn't start collecting until like about late 2013, and by the time I saw this was actually sold out. But prices at the time was like I think I want to say like 350 to like 400 around there, and I always told myself, "Hey, I'll just pick it up later. The price isn't that bad. I'll just pick it up later." And I just never got around to it, to be honest. But no, I do not have it in the collection. This is still a personal grail of mine. Even with the new one that's out there, this is something that I want. I mean, understand, Kenobi, I am the mindset of I come from 3.75, right? So I've always had the mentality of collect them all, if you can. So, and my jam is Star Wars, dude. It always has been. So if I have the opportunity to go back and pick up everything that I can, that's what I'm doing. And considering that this is actually Hot Toys' first crack at Star Wars with the DX2 pack, it's something that I've always wanted, but I just never came around to it because I never really made the funds available for it.
What's interesting is that my story is very similar to Optical's, because when I started collecting summer of 2012, and I remember this. I remember the reviews coming in, but Star Wars at that point had scorned me. I had just was going through my Star Wars purge, where I had spent 15 years collecting the 3 3/4 inch figures, being disappointed, no respect. Star Wars at this point in time had no respect. The figures were never holding any value. I ended up liquidating a lot of those 3 3/4 inch figures for $2 on eBay. It was such a loss. And Star Wars that was one of the points. I'm like, I love Star Wars, but I don't trust it. This is just, I can't deal with this. And I fell in love with Avengers in theaters in the summer of 2012. Avengers was the hot shit that you had to jump in, or you were going to get bullied out. You were going to miss out. The secondary market was spinning out of control. I remember this set. I remember that I didn't care for it. I remember I didn't care for Star Wars at the time. And I remembered that I felt the likeness to Luke Skywalker at this point in time in history was not accurate. And I look back, and the research I was able to do, because I was working today, is that it still gives me this exact same impression. It borders that uncanny valley. It's not the best. So Optical, did you ever consider going back to getting it? Did you ever buy it as a reissue later on the road? You didn't buy it at the point in time. Or was that ship just had sailed for you? Like, you know what? I missed it. I'm done. Let's move forward.
Yeah, by the time I kind of appreciated it, the value has already gone up. But I was in the same boat as you, Kenobi. When I first saw this, even up to now, I would say even back then standards, I always thought it was like, it's there, but it's not, it's not really there. You know what I mean? So
it wasn't exciting. You're saying it didn't excite you.
Yeah, to spend $300, but looking back at it now, obviously with with that everything that it came with, you'd be like, all right, this is a steal. But even back then, the standards back then, I was just like, the battle damage looks cool, but I was just like, yeah, I mean, who am I gonna post this with? They don't even
Yeah.
have a Vader, so I was just like, why?
Oh, that's right. We didn't have a Darth Vader at the time,
No,
did we?
Vader
We had
didn't.
no Star Wars at
No,
all.
this is not nothing.
This is the only one.
Vader didn't came out till like 3 years later. So, and that
Mhm.
was still confusing. It was just
Which Vader do I have? The Empire Strikes Back Vader. When did that show up? With the base, with the platform base.
2016,
16,
2017.
Yeah, because my New Hope was 15. That was the first Vader.
Yeah, that was the very first one. I have that one as well.
That's the one I ended up pre-ordering on the first run because I know they ended up doing like a 40th anniversary Vader. I loved it. I thought it was a beautiful Vader. I had always assumed that they would go back and either like a 2.0 or even a reissue. I was aware of the secondary market value, but it never affected me. I never had that feeling of regret. I'll be the first one to admit regret that I missed out on certain figures throughout the last 10 years. And this is one that I never had any regrets. I'm like, eh. So it's interesting listening to the current panels that we've been having and kind of listening to the opinions of the early collectors that have joined in and then comparing it to the veterans, so forth. And that was really the main point of this panel, just to kind of get your idea what your thoughts were on this and what your thoughts are on the new one. So Mario, you once that ship has sailed, you never went back to getting this. You're like, you know what, it's done, it's missed out, and so forth.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, all right. And looking at it now, before the 2022 release, the announcement, did your what's the word? The attraction, did it ever diminish or did it increase? Like, I still want this thing.
No, it neither increased or decreased. It was just like I just saw it as a hole in my collection that I would eventually one day fill, but it wasn't really a priority, to be honest.
Okay.
But it's not that it doesn't look bad. I think it's a great figure. It's just that, especially right now, considering its age and all of the issues or potential issues that come with this figure, with all the leather parts falling apart, and everything like that. This piece was notoriously known for the magnets for the gun holster falling apart as well. So,
yeah.
Trying to find something in tip-top shape these days is a bit of a rarity. So that's another reason why I was just holding off on it too. And it's just
Mario,
ridiculously priced as well right now.
I got that on my notes here. That's one of the arguments I have against this one. This particular figure has aged poorly, and that seems to be something that seems to be omitted from some of these panels that are going on, where there are collectors that, I spent $700 on this set, and to me this is the definitive version, and I'm just like, is it? And what's also interesting too is that when I was working today, I pulled up videos that were uploaded in 2012, and some of those issues were already present with the leather, with the little buttons, the little the pips that would fall off as you would open it. Right here, the pips on the belt strap. This particular figure already had issues upon delivery. And it was which YouTuber that I see? You guys know him. Evio M. Seb. You guys know Evio M. Seb from France. He's part of, you know him. Yeah, he reviewed it, and he talked about on his video that it looks weird from certain angles, and Evio talks about that leather strap. Do you see this little that wraps around his thigh right here? Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can zoom in on it. Oh, come on. Oh, is this one here? Oh, maybe not. That strap right there. Do you see that?
Yeah.
In his figure, it was loose, so loose that you can stick a finger, his pinky through it, and the pants were baggy. So he actually brought up a lot of good points on his old video. And in the end, I want Luke, and I finally got my Luke, even though with all these problems, even though when he pulled out the actual hair, the the piece, the magnet falls right off. It's a brand. He just got it from Sideshow. So it was just interesting that we tend to remember things very differently unless you go back and you look at history on that whole experience. I was just never impressed by this. Out of the whole DX line, the only one that ever really impressed me was Jack Sparrow. I know people love the Michael Keaton and a few others and the Joker, but the only one that ever actually I went back and I chased was the Jack Sparrow DX that they had made for it. And then that was it. And then I ended up just always looking forward. I was just never impressed with this figure. And in the research that I did on this figure today, I just found so much film inaccuracies, continuity errors. When I researched this, because I had Empire Strikes Back playing, then I had a couple of videos of the unboxings. I'm like, this set here actually had issues that would just not fly with today's collectors and YouTube. And it seemed that only the smaller channels at the time were somewhat bit honest reviewing it versus like the top dogs at the time. At the time it was Shardamus and Sean Long and Optibotimus and so forth. And so they reviewed it very positively, but of course they were under Sideshow's affiliated link. Affiliated link. So you would obviously want to hype it up, and I'm like, that's why I always kind of say you always want to kind of look at a smaller channel's review on this. I'm really shocked, Mario. I thought you had this shit.
No, it was always on the to-do list. Just never picked it up.
You have this impressive Star Wars, panel. I mean, behind your Maju case there, and I wasn't sure about Optical, but I didn't want to ask him. I'm like, as I knew Optical was collecting back in the day, but I wasn't sure if he had missed that boat. But Optical is right. Marvel was king, and you would pay the consequences if you dare not pre-order or grab one of those those figures, especially during 2016 with Civil War, where I missed out on
movie promo editions.
Yeah.
Those were day one. Those were gone.
Remember the Midas and Hawkeye sold out. You gotta wait for another movie to get a Hawkeye. So.
Yep.
Even the silly Iron Man. What was the black stealth suit one? That exclusive that went up. That sold out day one.
That sold out. All of that.
F5 to refresh your browser.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, the Mark 7 was the one that I remember. It sold out within a few weeks. I remember that was the golden age of Marvel collecting. It was really it was wonderful. Marvel back then was just bliss.
When I first started collecting, that's all there really was. I mean, for me, I started off collecting. I think my first in hand was actually Thor, from the Dark World, the Asgardian exclusive version. That was my first one in hand, and after that, Loki, and then Winter Soldier stuff, and because that's all there was. And then when they announced that they're getting Star Wars, I was like, first of all, I'm in trouble, and then second of all, I can't wait. They came out with Ben Kenobi, the Han and Chewie 2-pack, and then after that, it was just snowball from there, man. It was just nonstop.
But it's interesting though, because when they started trickling into Star Wars around 2014, 2015, that was like the New Hope Luke. Was it 2015 Optical?
2015, yeah.
Okay, I was still not convinced. I'm like, I wasn't. Remember, I was still scorned from decades of loyalty to Hasbro and to the ships, and it was just piddles. It was never Hasbro just kept re-releasing it, and I had my buddy Jeff at the time in Florida was like, don't ever you're wasting your time with his little tchotchkiness and a little 3 3/4 inch. I go, anything I buy through Hot Toys, I would buy, and he would show it to me. He'd buy dupes in 2011, 2012, and he would show it to me. I go, you're wasting your time with all that crap. I go, I'm buying duplicates, selling it to pay for the first one. And he would show it to me. And I'm like, what am I doing? I love collecting. I love toys, and he's showing me a better world. And it was just complete bonkers. Let me let's get into the main attraction here. Bespin Google Photos. You're gonna love this. There's one specific photo I want to start right here. No, not this one. That's not the one I want. All right, where are you? There's one specific one I want to start off with. This one right there. All right. So got to give credit to Jojo's Adventure channel. He actually did a stunning 4K review on his channel on the DX07 late last year. I want to say around October. And on his review, doesn't have a lot of views. I put the link in the stream's description. He brings up a lot of the pros and cons. And one of the cons was that pleather. Was it real leather? Do we know if it was? Because it looks like pleather on the video, but he's calling it leather. You guys have said leather. Do we know
if it was?
Yeah.
If it was real leather, I don't think it would be falling apart the way that it is.
I think
I'm sure it's pleather.
It's pleather, the same thing that they use for predators and all that stuff. So.
Okay.
Indiana Jones. Yeah.
So he in his video, it's a pre-owned one, and you can see like the little steel pips are falling off, and the leather is starting to fray. The clothing is starting to fray. Every time you handle the battle damaged Luke, the actual outfit just gets tattered.
Even more battle damaged.
Yeah, it gets more battle damage. And then the other argument that I heard through other channels, I'm going to start off with optical on this, is that the DX head sculpt is better. And I'm just looking at it, I'm like, what do you guys are smoking? I go, the technology speaks for itself. What am I missing? Is it because some collectors spent a fortune, so now they have to justify it? Is that what it is? Go ahead, optical.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, if you bought it for $700, you got to justify that you paid that much. Although I would say this is I've seen better pictures than this one. Maybe the promotional pictures perhaps, but I know the battle damage one looks better than the regular version. But it can't be. I would say, it's been 10 years and they have improved.
This is your battle damage. Is this the one that you're lobbying for? Because I think it looks horrible. That's your battle damage.
I guess if you look at the promotional pictures, not this, because now
promotional pictures can be doctored. This boy here pulled out his impressive 4K.
Because if you're going to compare it to the promotional picture of the new one, then I think it's just fair that you compare it to the promotional pictures of the DX07.
True.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you get points there. Now you get a point. Okay.
So if you look at the promotional pictures of DX07, it looks better than this. I don't even. Is this guy like? Because even the proportion of the face doesn't seem right. Is this like a wide angle lens that he moved in so close? It just looks weird.
Well,
and it's washed out. Like
here's the problem, though. The colors may be a little bit washed out, but the sculpt, the eyes, it's in 4K. It has that weird uncanny valley. Remember, we tend to remember things very differently, and this is something that I didn't see a lot of people do. Like, you really should pull up the photos, not I mean, I showed you what the prototype. I mean, what it looked like on Sideshow. Those were grainy, low resolution photos uploaded to Sideshow, and you could not zoom in. I like this guy here because he's a small channel, less than 1,000 subscribers, and he was passionate about this. He still loves the figure, but he did point out a lot of its flaws, and then the head sculpt and so forth. And that's what I look forward to, because people tend to collectors, not people, but we tend to remember things differently. When you look at it, it has that. I go, this is exactly what I remember back in the day. This Luke Skywalker always had that weird, uncanny valley. Like, he doesn't look human. He looks more of a synthetic android type deal. But I get it. And my argument why people will argue with this would be the accessories. Well, it came with a lot more. Well,
in fairness, everything came with a lot more back then.
Yeah, I mean,
most things,
yeah.
Is that? I mean, So, and the whole idea is, I'm not here to bash the specific one. I'm here that I want to look at things from both point of views. Why everybody is so against this new, or at least maybe it's the price, because I get it. The price point is it's expensive. That deluxe is $345 for the deluxe, But
I don't even know if that is expensive, because for the DX nowadays, if you look at Ahsoka, isn't that the same almost price, and that's DX as well?
I think it's like $20-$30 less, but and still doesn't come with as much as this one does.
Right.
But it still isn't really that much to begin with. I mean, compared to a standard DX from back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, Denobi, I completely agree with Optical. The fact that paying $700 for this older figure these days is, I think that's what most people are actually hanging on to.
Is that
yeah, it's you're just trying to justify that, because I always felt the same way you did about the actual sculpt. I do agree that this one,
yeah, it doesn't look human, right? Very surreal, uncanny valley.
It was, but 12 years ago, it was, or however long ago, it was. I thought it was fine for what it was back in the day, because not everything was, the likeness wasn't 100% or as good as it is these days. For most figures, there were some out there. The Jack Sparrow, it looked really good for its time. It looks even better now with the newer one. But yeah, the battle damage sculpt compared to the normal one that it came with, I agree with Optical as well. Is that this one? Not that the likeness is stronger, but I think there's something about it that just looks a little bit better, right? That's not to say that this is like
for the old one or for the new one.
For the old one, No. The new one is miles better. Technology has improved. They've nailed the sculpt, in my opinion. But another thing too is that back in the day, consider that this was this the only DX that actually came with 2 full figures? Because the DX01 Joker, it didn't have a full body. I don't think the Bruce Lee did either. Wasn't it just extra close?
DX02, I believe, has the second body. Oh no, DX01.
That was Batman.
The police version, right?
The police version. No, it only had the extra outfit. It didn't have an actual body. You had to go back and actually pick up another body for it. So I think this was like the only one, unless it's the Bruce Lee one, is actually 2 figures as well, that really had 2 figures with the entire package. So you consider the price of 2 figures these days for what they're worth.
Yeah.
I guess what you're paying for right now isn't that much, is that far-fetched, but the quality isn't there. I mean, you're paying. I mean, I don't want to pay that much money for something that's that older, that's actually deteriorating. The head sculpt is not up to par, to these days. So it's not really worth it.
And it was the cheaper bodies too. They switched the hot toy body. I mean, that was one of the things that they bragged about when we got to Captain America in 2016 with that version, where, hey, we got a new body, new flexi body, and so forth, where Hot Toys actually kept changing the body components. What scares me about buying this secondary in the market is that I've heard collectors and just even on the panels talk about, even you, Mario, where you keep a lot of your figures in storage for years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
mine's temperature controlled as well, so that's the other scary part.
Yeah. And that's the thing. A lot of collectors tend to rotate their collection. They're limited in space. Would I want to spend, $700-800 from a collector that stored this in Florida in a remote storage? No. And then you open it and it's covered in mold. So
yeah, man,
it's a different, I'm telling you, a lot of those bodies back in the day. So clearly it's now dated. It's just, this is how Hot Toys works. It's now the old, it's now the poor cousin. Now we're going to get the 2.0. It is the circle of life, where we've gotten a 2.0 Captain America from 2012. We're eventually going to get a 2.0 Loki from 2012. This was something that I actually welcome. Like, oh, this is cool. I'm kind of feeling a little bit more comfortable opening up my feelings towards Star Wars now, so I can welcome this into my collection. I feel a little bit comfortable. Enough time, we've been separated for quite a while. I can bring in a Bespin Luke. I think it's stunning. Going through some of the videos too, even I can tell the stitching is different from the new one to the old one. So you're getting the stitching. It's one argument I heard in the panels is just a head sculpt. All you're getting is head sculpt. No, from what I can tell, it's everything. It's going to be the outfit where, let me see if I can give you an example. I didn't have enough time to set this up here. So right here, let's use this photo here, for example, where the outfit here is form-fitting. And I'm looking at unboxing videos from 2012 from Ivio Seb, and then this one gentleman, Jojo's Adventures, where the suit is baggy, very baggy. The leather strap is loose. You can't adjust it. Certain things you can do as far as posability and so forth. I'm assuming, and this is me spec, I'm guessing that articulation, fabric components are going to be improved because this is very, very form fitting, and the original Luke's were very baggy. Let me see if I can get. I think I might still have his video here. Let's see if I can show a clip of it. Stop screen. See if I
Do you think that they actually just tightened up the cut and sew on this thing, or do you think they actually used a more bigger body to actually fill in that suit? Because it does look a little beefier. To be honest,
man,
he's filling in that suit pretty well.
Oh, Mario, that might be 10 points for you. That might be another kick in the balls. So you think it'll be like another situation like the new Batman DX that was just announced, where they just it's just bigger and oh, that would suck.
I think so. I mean, I don't think height wise it's going to be that much different, considering that Mark Hamill is still, not as tall as Batman, but I just think maybe in the thickness department, if you want to call it that, is just a little bit more bulky, where he's actually filling in the Bespin outfit more. It's more refined, more form fitting.
Let's look at some comments here. Look at mine. Looks better. I'm looking at mine in hand. Looks way better than those photos. Look, hey, it's kind of like your children. Everybody assumes that their kids are attractive, and then when you see your neighbor's kids, you're like, what's going on there? So I believe you, Lucky Jahar. I'm not. Don't hate me. I do believe you that you believe that your DX07 Luke is phenomenal. I never saw it in that way, even before. I just never did.
And the beauty of these things is that art is completely subjective. Man.
It is. It is absolutely. It is absolutely. They weren't molding and 3D printing sculpts 12 to 13 years ago. I don't even think they were molding now. Actually, I think they're still doing it freestyle, from what I understand. Yeah, I don't see my DX07 the same after the pre-order photos, the 2.0. I don't. I have the original 2012 Captain America. Did you buy it, Optical, the 2012 Captain America from Avengers, back in 2000?
Back then?
Yeah.
I did.
I did too. And then you got the new one, and you're like, well, shoot, this new one looks better.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I sold that way back.
Did you really?
That thing can move, and the shield would flake.
Oh
my God! Now you got the new 2012. I bought that new one now because it's like
So did you collect Captain America, Mario? You didn't do Avengers back in the day, did you? Did you do Marvel?
I did because that's all there was.
That's all there was.
With me, right. There was Marvel. There was some Batman stuff, but that's all there was for me at the time to collect. So I did have my fair share of Avengers figures and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're right, Optical. That figure did not age very well. Even the stitching too.
Yeah, because it's too tight that there's no room to move. And even if you buy that new, even if brand new, you open it up, you'll see the shield flaking right in front of you. It'll just deteriorate.
How does that Iron Man head sculpt? Well, look, I can play devil's advocate. At least I can put the helmet on, because you're probably right. I mean, can you put on the blaster on Luke? I mean, it's a big difference. That's the thing too with the Iron Man figures back in the day. For the most part, they're still holding up. Other than like the whole pink panties issue with the Mark 6 back in the day and the Mark 4.
Mark 3.
Other than that, yeah. But as far as the head sculpts, I never posed them with the head sculpts anyway. I never did.
Even still with the helmet design back then, they were still. I thought they were extremely thin.
Weird. Yeah,
they're real thin and narrow. Yeah, I mean compared to now, they've improved their Iron Man figures big time compared to those days.
Yeah, these older head sculpts they look dated. And it's not just Star Wars, it's also my Avengers collection. I still have the original team. Even Hawkeye is starting to look kind of, old in the tooth. So
I would say starting Dark World, Dark World can kind of compare to what we do have now. It's still a bit dated, but if you don't collect Hot Toys, you'll be like, oh, it still looks fine. Like
Dark World Thor.
Thor. Yeah, I think it's still.
Oh, dude, I think it still holds up to this day, man.
Right,
I hear a lot of collectors say that's probably the best sculpt they ever did for Chris Hemsworth.
I think from that point to now, there's difference, of course. They improve, but it's not a massive leap. It's not like from DVD to 4K. They improved a little bit here and there, but from that point on, moving forward, I think they constantly improve, but not that big of a leap compared to this Luke that we have in front of us right now.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get some of his right here without getting blasted here. All right, so let's pull it up here and let's play.
Look at his belt. The light here is definitely shitty lighting here. It sucks. But it gives us a great shadow on the box rig. Huh? See that?
That's impressive.
Epic. I think also the strap on his leg is it could be a little tighter.
Yeah.
I can almost put my finger between his leg and the strap.
Can you not tighten it a little bit?
No, you can't.
Oh,
Then here we have his holster, which again is magnetized.
Yeah.
And it houses the
blaster.
blaster. Wow, this is probably the shittiest video I've ever done.
Oh, Evio, if he's watching. But I like looking at that because those type of videos are the ones that I like to grab that information from versus the top dogs will tend to omit. And Evio, I've known him for quite a while, and he's just, in the end, he still likes the figure, but he still pointed out some of the flaws on that specific stuff. But yeah, the whole belt situation, I'm like, yeah, that's the stuff I want to learn. So if that belt is loose, and he got this brand new, the video starts as an unboxing. So you look at that, and then you look at the new one, the 2022 version, and it's like, you could be right, Mario. It could be a new body. He looks healthier. Let me pull it up here.
Yeah. Definitely healthier.
Yeah, definitely. This one here. All right. So I guess I don't want to complain about pricing because I understand it is a lot, $345. I don't mind them charging it up if you give me the experience. And one of the things that just drives me bonkers is that there's 2 SKUs. I hate that so much.
Agreed.
I hate that they do the regular and then they do the deluxe. Just do a deluxe and let the collector decide if they can swing it or not. I don't know how yeah.
It's even sillier when you have a deluxe in the DX line, but who am I to say?
Why?
It's like it's a deluxe already, man. Just give us everything. You don't need 2 SKUs, man.
Do the helmet for pre-orders. Like if you pre-order within whatever time,
you
get that helmet. I mean
that too.
Yeah. Thank you so much, 6L Mafia, for your feelings. It's okay. I'm trying to be nice. I'm gonna end up buying the 2012, and it was just important to kind of get some veterans here just to look at this from a different point of view. But yeah, I don't like the 2 SKUs. It doesn't make any sense. And it's more production delays because now you have to print, manufacture, and assemble a second figure in a different box. And we are already trending 130 plus pre-orders. It's not making things better. I don't understand why Hot Toys would do that. I just don't understand it. If they're and I guess the argument could be, well, let's make it more affordable to the collectors. I mean, would that be the logic behind that?
For how much is the difference? I mean,
it's a $50 difference, right? It's a $50 difference, right? $335 or versus the $285.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Or the difference being the extra Luke and Vader portrait and the Dagobah base.
Yeah.
For an extra $50 or so.
Yeah.
No, it's more than that. It's like 60, isn't it? 285 versus 245.
Isn't that base just like a kind of like a topper of some sort? Like you just attach it to the side?
Yeah, it's similar to I want to say the what was
deluxe
it?
Luke back then, where there's like
The
trees,
deluxe
like,
Luke, Leia, Wicket, where they have the sides for the tree. You just
Yeah.
attach it onto the sides.
It's
Yeah,
like silly,
it's
why
that same
so
thing.
much?
So
I don't mind it. I actually like it.
I think it's fine too. So did you know that the head with the Luke and the Vader, that was a sideshow exclusive? Did you know that, Mario?
I sure did.
Okay, I didn't know
sure
that
did.
until today. Yeah.
And that's what I was saying actually the other day. I think it was on Lael's stream. Is that it's not. I don't think it's cool that they actually reissued an exclusive piece with a figure, that's released nowadays. What's the point of picking up an exclusive if they're just going to re-release the exclusive part later on? I think that kind of kills the value a little bit. Me personally, for the exclusive one.
I see. That's a good point.
It takes away from the integrity of the actual original exclusive, because now it's not so exclusive.
Yeah.
Now that you can get, and it's the same. If you look at it too, Kenobi, it's the same sculpt.
Same.
It's the exact same sculpt that they used on the original DX07 in that Vader helmet. It's the exact same one, dude.
And now it's standard, so it's not. I get you. That was the whole idea of pre-ordering it through Sideshow versus going through Big Bad Toy Store.
Exactly.
Yeah, because Big Bad Toy Store was king shit back in the day too. That no tax. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know that until today. That was the whole idea. But
yeah, and I tend to order the exclusives also whenever I can get them. That's why I still have pre-orders for Sideshow as well. I mean, other than any reward points that I've used and accumulated, and put towards other pre-orders. Even the fact that some of these exclusives I can't get somewhere else, because that's just how I collect. So it's exclusive
especially if the price is the same, might as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So can I assume that everybody here is going to be getting this, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay. And we're not going to be. Did you day one pre-order this already, Mario? Did you already click the pre-order button?
I did not, but I did receive a discount code from somewhere that's actually considerable.
Okay.
I might do it pretty soon. So
all right. I'm not gonna pre-order this. I'm gonna wait till it drops. I have to imagine this is gonna be a year and a half out, and it's gonna now compete with the other existing Lukes that are probably may still be sitting on the shelves.
Yeah.
And you know what the other Lukes are gonna be? Snow Speeder Luke.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Deep fake Mando. Luke. And the Mando deep fake Luke. Yeah. Yeah. And it gets worse. The deep fake Luke has 2 SKUs. So there could be a point in time where you'll have an option of choosing between 5 Luke Skywalkers.
One of them is not going to sell. For sure. So
one of them, I guarantee you will get the short end of the stick. You're absolutely right, Optical.
One of them is not going to sell, and that one of them is the one that I'm going to pick up for bargain. So
absolutely. Absolutely. Oh,
you're aware that the deepfake Luke is also a DX, right?
That's DX. Yes. Yeah, both of them.
Yeah. Both of them, 2 SKUs DX.
Yeah, one is like 22.
It's such a joke, dude. Something like that. Yeah, it's ridiculous, man.
Complete. Well, we got
Hey.
Who is this guy?
Look at who's this guy. Hey, I can't talk about Star Wars without bringing in PJ here so I can pick on him. That's how it works.
Sure, man. How's it going?
PJ, thank you so much, dude. I appreciate you coming in. I know,
of course, man.
in your world,
I don't do streams anymore, but once in a while I'll do it.
Oh, I'll hook you in. I need somebody to rag on because you're always so super positive and lovable when it comes to Star Wars, and you feel that Star Wars can do no wrong, and everybody loves Clone Wars. Like, oh, I gotta get PJ.
Well, I mean, I guess the Star Wars fan, right? So I gotta be biased with the Star Wars.
I love Star Wars. I don't trust it. I don't put out on the first date. Star Wars needs to woo me first. I need to be, bring me, you don't just throw this out here like that and like you guys got to pre-order the Grail. No, calm the fuck down. Star Wars, slow down.
Yeah, especially nowadays with more recent figures, right? It's like, are they really a Grail at this point? If this one is like what, $345 or something like that? Oh
You're
God.
frozen, PJ. Did your camera freeze, PJ?
Oh yeah, I think so. Hold on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, there I am. Hi. There you go.
What's going? What are you streaming from? Are you streaming from like a Zune or?
Zoom.
I'm streaming.
I a blackboard, like a whiteboard right behind you.
He's in detention.
Yeah. No, it's my
I gotta have somebody that thinks
my work laptop actually. So I just got home from work, so it's my work laptop. So I just hopped on right away.
Oh, it's probably banning you for entertainment purposes.
I know, really, seriously.
There you go.
Hey, let me
Makes
hop
sense.
off and I'll come back in.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Shoot, I was gonna say something.
Optical was so still. I thought he was frozen as well. I'm
well,
like, wait a minute, what's going on?
This is how I am. Yeah.
Yeah, Optical's always in deep thought.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's always in
deep
mode.
He's
Yes.
he's like Drax, man. He just stands so still, but his movements are so quick.
Yeah.
I mastered that. So
Yeah.
But what is this?
Lane
What is
Kramer.
going on here? Shame on you. That reviews. What? I didn't do any review. What are you talking about? I'm sure
the DX07 that was shot on a potato.
the shot of potato. Oh, that was. It wasn't so much about the crappy quality. It was his opinions that I was capturing. The leg belt and things like that. That's what I wanted to focus on. My artillery trooper unboxing for CW was the worst. You know what, Lane? I actually watched it. I was working. I think I was at the gym or I was working or something. And those boys would not let you focus on your artillery trooper unboxing. And I can feel that you were getting triggered. So I feel
they told him to tap on the figure to turn the light on or something.
And let me for Lane. I feel Lane for his artillery trooper because I really wanted to listen to his opinion. So Lane, I will give you 10 points, Lane. All right. Oh, PJ's back. Let me see if his camera works now. Hold on. I remove this. Bring in PJ. Boom.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
All right. Boom, boom. There you go. Who is pre-ordering? Optical said no. Mario said no. You probably day one pre-order this, Luke, didn't you, PJ?
No, I don't do day one pre-order anymore.
Okay.
I haven't done so in like
good. We got like the Jedi Council here then. Good.
I think the only time I was looking through my pre-orders, the last time I day one pre-ordered something was my Ahsoka Sideshow Ahsoka premium format. That was like my last day one pre-order.
Exclusive?
Yeah, the exclusive.
Nice.
For
Did
sure.
you get it yet? Did it come in?
Yeah, I have it right next to me, actually.
Yeah,
So
it came out so good, man. I've been seeing a bunch of pictures, man. It looks really good.
Yeah, it's good. Did you get it, Mario?
No, I didn't pick it up. I didn't pick up that particular one, so kind of eyeballing the Mando version, but we'll see.
You see? That's it. We got the Jedi Council here. Everybody here is like, shame on, you fool me once, shame on you. You fool me twice, shame on me. Nobody in this panel is giving up anymore.
We went from Popo to Nopo. No one's pre-ordering anymore.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So that's one thing too nowadays is that as I fix my camera here, but
PJ, you sound like a correspondent from a war or something.
Oh, let me fix this. No, but like it's one of those things. Like, so I think I did mention in my like other stream that like, hello.
We got you.
We got
you. Oh yeah,
man.
okay, got you.
You're frozen, but
you're sending out Morse code, but we got you.
Yeah, it's one of those things too. Is that like, I feel like nowadays the amount of companies and products outweigh the amount of collectors out there.
We can.
I can
PJ,
see that, especially with 2 SKUs for every Mando or every Luke that we do have here. One of them is bound to not to sell. So
I don't understand. It's you don't have to be a mathematician to figure out that something is not adding up. It just. I don't know what else to tell collectors, and it's hard to get excited. It's really, really hard to get excited for this.
There you go. I'm back.
Third time's the charm.
Are you
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
bathroom?
Yeah.
You streaming
Now
in the bathroom?
I'm in the bathroom.
You're in the bathroom.
Prove it. Get up. Let's see.
Are you sure?
Shirtless selfies again?
Are you sure? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, right? Am I right or wrong? Is there the amount of collectibles now outweigh the amount of collectors? Look at Sideshow's website. That'll tell you like how many stuff is on there. Like
Oh,
with
yeah.
all these companies, now you got Queen Studios, you got Asmus is still around, Star Ace, you got Mezco still hanging around, you got Funko, you got Darkside Collectibles, you got Infinity Studios, you got Sideshow, you got Prime One. So the amount of stuff is out there. So now I feel like there's a lot of companies too kind of skating around the licensing market, right? So there's like, for example, XM Studios got the Star Wars license, but it's only for Asia and things like that. But still, there's a lot of North Americans like picking up a lot of these pieces and shipping it over here. So I mean, it's a lot, and it's forever growing at this point. So for me, is there like a bubble happening, or are we able to keep up? I don't know if you guys.
We're in the bubble right now. This is the storm. Nobody wants to admit it, but you can already see the signs of figures being discounted on both and multiple IPs.
Yeah,
Star Wars and Marvel. So this is it. Most collectors have finally wised up or kind of smartened up, like, oh, I'm not going to do one. I'm like, it may be too late. We're at 130 pre-orders. It's so with economics, it's works. I mentioned this in my stream, works with supply and demand. We need to have less of a character so that the demand can go up. And I think if I can speak for the panel here, we would rather chase for some of this than to chase for the discount on who's selling it cheaper. Would that be a yes, Optical or Mario? Or
what do you mean, like chase the character? Or?
So for example, when a figure drops, would you rather have it sell out right away? Oh, I missed out on it, so let me go on on this side or so forth. So you're chasing it now because it's sold out because it's a small batch, versus it's been sitting in Sideshow for months. So now you're spending your time on, well, shit, who's selling this figure cheaper now? Where can I save $40 or whatever? And then it gets worse because as a smart shopper, you're like, well, should I wait for it to drop even lower?
That's what's happening to me now. So the wait is not just 2 years. Because I always had a plan to pick up some of these figures. Let's say Bro Thor. I know it's available now, for example, but I had this gut feeling that it's going to go lower. So I don't even want to get that now. Yeah. Some of the quote unquote grails from Star Wars are not even grails. Like, Captain Rex, for example, people were talking about, oh, it's not going to last. Or what's the Mandalorian's name? The exclusive edition, the Armorer.
Oh, yeah,
all over it. But look at her now. At this point where there's so many figures coming out. With me, like, if you want a lot of characters, you should like shop not for the characters, like you said, like what you're telling Kenobi. I would just wait for the right deal. Like, would I rather have that? Of course, I'd rather have my DX13 who sells for $500, or my police shootout. But I don't think that's gonna happen ever. Not with the competition now, because I think companies now are looking. I gotta pump out more to stay relevant and to outdo this other guy, because otherwise you'd be left behind if you try to be like this cool dude that only releases one figure per month or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for me back then, like, when I first started collecting Hot Toys, like, I remember the amount of pre-orders wasn't really that much compared to what it is now. But man, it felt so special getting that figure in after waiting like a year or 9 months, 9 months to a year for that figure, and you're just like appreciating every part of that figure. Like when I first got Deadpool, the first Deadpool, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a Hot Toys figure. Like, you got like all these switch outs, you got like this suit, even like Suicide Squad Harley, it was like, oh my gosh, this face sculpt is amazing, the tailoring. But now it's just like no one really cares. It's all about just like, okay, I need this for my collection. It's someone told me on one stream that this is gonna sell out. I must get this now. It's like more about the quantity than the quality of your collection. And I don't
PJ,
know.
let me ask you a quick question, PJ, because I already asked Mario and I failed because I thought Mario had him. Optical, it was within the same boat I was in. Did you ever, and you told me when you started collecting Hot Toys, which was 2015, but did you ever go back and get the DX07, or did you just pass them completely?
I just think because back then when I first started collecting, like it was like $200 was a lot, right? Like for like a one figure, you're like, damn, like that's $200. And back then I'm going from like Funko Pops or Black Series or even Kotobukiya, like $20, $80 figures at most, to like a $200 figure. And I passed on a lot of stuff, including the Han Solo and Chewbacca 2-pack. So I mean, yeah,
That's
because
a good
I was
one.
like $400. I was like, oh man,
that was not $400. Wasn't that a $500?
It was close. Yeah, it was close. Like it was like 460, 470.
470, I think, or something like that.
470.
No, yeah, the Han and Chewie set wasn't that $500?
I think like 420. I know I bought that.
No, it was not.
The Force Awakens one was
the Force Awakens was
$500.
510. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the
yeah.
first one where like the Luke. I mean the better.
I ended up getting him. I ended up getting the 2-pack, and then I had it for a couple of years, and then I sold it before the second reissue. That was the first time we had ever experienced a reissue.
Yeah.
Remember, the whole world fell apart in the collector community. We had collectors jumping off the roof. We had never seen that shit before. Yeah. I
went back and watched a video not too long ago watching that.
Yeah, my old friend Benjamin still bitches about that to this day. He's still sour over that.
How about the Alec Guinness Obi-Wan Kenobi? I remember that sitting on Sideshow's website forever.
That was reissued too.
I couldn't give mine away. I sold it for $150.
It's set forever.
Oh my god!
It looked flimsy. It just, even the Leia looked cheap. I passed on all that. Even like the Farm Boy Luke.
Farm Boy Luke is soft. Like
it looked weak. It like oh.
But the Nobi, I bought all those. I bought those New Hope ones because Star Wars was not hot back then. So I was in this mindset where we're not going to see them ever again. Like I was just like, why would they do another Vader? I mean, he looks all the same in other movies outside of having different tunic out, tunic in, things of that nature. So I was just like, they're not going to redo this. It's not Iron Man. And for a while I was right, because there was no Star Wars after that New Hope up until, I mean, let's be honest, Star Wars boomed with Mandalorian. That's it. Star Wars boom with Mandalorian, because even that Vader, and it's a good figure. What was that, Empire, where he has this base? That was not selling. That was sitting.
The Darth Vader from Empire Strikes Back, right?
Up until
all of the Star Wars stuff set. I remember when I was talking to PJ over Dooku. And he did his review, and somebody else did the review, and he's like, "Kenobi, you better get it." I'm like, and I felt like, oh, I guess I have to get him. And he was still sitting there on Sideshow. I'm like, I better get him. I'm happy I did now, though. I'm happy I got my Dooku.
The same happened with the Dark Side Anakin. I remember when that first came out, that was actually a Comic-Con exclusive. You had to be at the con to pick it up. Everybody started bitching about it. Then eventually it dropped on Sideshow's website for everybody to pick it up. And it sat for years. It wasn't until that thing sold out, then it's suddenly hitting what? $700, $800, $900 these days. It's insane.
And it's sold out after like
and it's set.
2 years. 2 years. That's how unprofitable Star Wars is for hot toys. Like they're just like, man, we can't give this away.
I think I've told this story before about the Dark Side Anakin. So I picked him up at San Diego Comic-Con, and I didn't even really want him. Because there was nothing else. I had money to burn that year. I was like, I need to buy something, and you could just go. You could walk up. You didn't even need to pre-order, and they were just selling them there. I'm like, I guess I can take this home. There's nothing else in the show I really, really want.
You know what it is too, is that like, there was a big Star Wars lull. I think there was a lot of fans, including myself, that went into a dark place right after The Last Jedi, and then
Oh,
I just didn't want to pick up any Star Wars collectibles. And I think a lot of Star Wars collectibles, including Darkstalker Anakin, suffered that fate. And then the Mandalorian came back, and then everyone's like, "Oh, I love Star Wars! Like, here we go," you know.
Yeah.
But you know, it's funny because back then, if you really think about it, like the
Marvel
amount
was
of
king.
yeah, Marvel was king,
was
and Marvel was king, and it still is king. But the thing
Mhm.
is that like with Marvel, the amount of movies you got a year was like 2 or 3, and the amount of figures that you got from there wasn't like the
Oh, I
amount
got
that
the
you're
amount.
getting.
I got the amount. Did I share that with you? So
No.
before 2020, the average amount of figures that would sit in pre-order was between 10, maybe 21 the most.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until it creeped over 30 plus. That's when I went into my spreadsheet. This is early 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And I started doing the math. I go, I've been collecting Hot Toys for years. This does not seem right. And at the time, you know, you saw my stream, PJ, was that and remember at the time I was freaking out. Oh my God, we have 30 something plus pre-orders. Look at us now at 131.
Yeah. And you know what too?
That is gonna happen. Yeah, I don't know what. I have ideas. I don't want to put on.
Well, here's what happened. So
Yeah.
you went from 3 movies, Marvel movies a year, maybe at max, to having all these streaming like shows. You got Moon Knight, you got Miss Marvel coming out, you got WandaVision, Loki, and like even Loki, you're pumping out all these like characters, like you know, like cool and all. We're still getting that? Was it the Loki in the suit? I forgot, King Loki. I forgot. Then you're getting the other classic Loki. I mean, they all look good, but man, like I would like to meet the collector that could like afford all these like Marvel figures, you know, and have them in their collection because Marvel's not stopping. We still haven't gotten to so all these shows, all these characters. I'm sorry, I'm a big X-Men fan. Are all just filling in the blanks until the X-Men come along. X-Men to me is like king in terms of
It's gonna be huge when that drops in the MCU.
Because it's like, who would you rather have on your side, Avengers or X-Men?
Avengers.
X-Men.
X-Men is for the poopy
Don't say
toy.
it.
Let them make that
No. How dare you?
For Toys era and poo-poo toys, all that nonsense. No. X-Men is that whole 20th Century Fox management.
Oh no, I'm talking about like the comic book.
Oh,
X-Men,
the comic book, yeah.
Yeah, when Marvel brings the X-Men to their universe,
then I'll take them seriously. Yeah. Then I'll give you that. I'll give you points when they start taking the X-Men seriously. Then yes. Let me throw a question up. Let me throw a quick question. I want to start with optical really here. Was it Lane that says that grails don't exist anymore? I call bullshit on that because I can tell you right now in my collection, I'm still trending some very impressive hot toy grails. It's the current lineup that is phasing in and out of its value. How about you, Optical?
Well, it'll just take a lot of time, especially all the end
anything else.
Yeah, like the end game ones. Once it sells out. Once you don't, you're making fun of Mark 50 now or Mark 85 because they're all over the place. Wait 2-3 years from now when it's gone, because they're not. It stops. That's when it becomes Grail, when it stops. That's why Star Wars right now, it's very hard to gauge their Grailness because there's always the new Boba coming out. There's always a new Mandalorian coming out. And for all you know, you already have like 8. So would you go back? Like, it's like Captain America. Would anyone go back and buy that first Avenger cap? No, that's a horrible looking figure. It's short. It's dated. You would say the same thing with Ahsoka. It looks cool now. It's funny when they were saying, oh, it's the first one. No one cares about the first one. They just care about the best one, the most recent one. Now this Endgame cap, the best one currently, unless they reissue it with like, I don't know, real blood or whatever, then it'll be a Grail. So it will exist. You won't find it on Star Wars now, unfortunately, though.
But it takes time.
It will take time. Now on Star Wars, you buy because you want to have it.
Yeah.
On Endgame now, like the Marvel that we do know and love. Look at this Battle Damage Mark 85. if you skip on this now and wait 3-4 years, this will be one of those Grail ones that
Yeah.
you're for.
Yeah, I agree because you know what, Robert Downey Jr. He even said in a podcast he really is not coming back to become. I mean, he may maybe make a cameo, but like I think he's basically done with Iron
I
Man.
think he's done. I really do.
He's done. He's done.
He's like
Like
54 too, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you got Tom Cruise supposedly coming back as Iron Man in Doctor Strange's thing, but I don't think Tony Stark is going to come back.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Garfield also said he's not in the latest Spider-Man movie either, and look what happened. So I don't trust any of these actors for anything they say, bro.
Sure.
Never say never, especially right now with Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
there's
Garfield's
always a possibility.
And
Garfield's young, and you know what? Did you know like how much they paid Robert Downey Jr. to make a cameo in Spider-Man?
Yeah. Oh, mhm.
That's when they decided to kill him. They were like 7
Yeah.
minutes, 10 million. I was like, you're gonna die.
Yeah,
and
he's
also
10 million. I thought it was like 20 or 30 million for that.
7 million.
he's also been out of where he doesn't even read the scripts. The lines are fed to him, and then he has to go on and do something else. He comes in and shoots the scenes, and he leaves, and he does not read the scripts. Yeah, and he's been called out on that, and he's never denied it. He's like, yeah, I don't read the scripts. I just show up and tell me what to do. That's how big he is. So to answer this question here with the Mark 47, I have done the math. Someone else on Kiko has done the math. I'm telling you, it's about 5 to 6% on reissues. I'm tired of everything gets reissued. We're trending close to 600. The MMS line Hot Toys, it's a small percentage. The problem is that we tend to focus on the ones that get reissued. But I can tell you, I have the Mark 46 from Civil War, and that still is a glorious Grail. So I still have Grails in my collection. How about the one? How about my favorite one?
Mine.
You sold yours? I still have mine.
I sold it. Sorry, God.
I was just gonna say, Kenobi. See what the difference is when it's about a character, right? Like, so that Iron Man, like Mark 5, right? Like Mark 5 was selling hot back then, the die cast. Now if there's a reissue, it's not like it tanked to $200. It would still sell because it's Iron Man. Look at what happened to Shore Trooper. And granting you, that's not a straight reissue. But because since it's only a Shore Trooper, now there's like 3 Shore Troopers out there.
Yeah.
If you're not a hardcore collector, would you really go for that? Would that really be on your bucket list to get that Rogue One Shore Trooper? No, but Mark 5, unless you're hardcore, but like a regular guy, they'll be like, "Hey, I just want a Shore Trooper."
Yeah.
You know, I get they're like 130 right now on Hong Kong. So
yeah, actually, I sold my Shore Trooper, the first one from Rogue One, just because I knew the other Shore Troopers were coming. And I said exactly the same thing you're saying now, Optical. Is like, I just want a Shore Trooper. I don't care if it's like a grunt or a chap. You know, it's like, I just want.
Yeah. 10 points for single songwriter for fact checking. I was right. That was not a cheap set at all. That was a yeah. Once you add some shipping to that, that was an expensive little bad boy there. Thank you, single songwriter. Yeah, I was like, you cats were like, it was a 410. I was like, I remember that was pretty steep back in the day.
Yeah.
Kenobi, you got to remember, like with Chewie, I don't know if you remember back then in Sideshow Freaks, there was a 1-to-1 Chewie being done by Elvis 1979, like the custom guy, and they go for like 800. So when this dropped at 479, people were just like,
we're going for it. Yeah. I never got into the whole custom and spending $300-400 on a head sculpt. I never got it. I know there's collectors out there that go gaga for that. I go, look, my logic is I'm just trying to navigate which characters I want out of the 100 plus and custom stuff like that. To me, it does not make any sense at all. Did I show you? Hold on, let me add something here. Which one is this one here? I'm going to finish up on the DX07 here because I want to have a couple of questions. But did I point out that it's not even screen accurate? Because when you look at the actual film stills, his Bespin, the battle damage, it's dirty as shit. And that DX07, the videos that I saw and the photos, it's still somewhat clean. with some minor scuffing and some dirt, but Luke Skywalker on this platform, it looks like he went through a chimney. I mean, it was right. So, and where I'm going to go with this, and I'm going to put on the tin hat just for a little bit, and I'll start off with you, Optical. Do you foresee a battle damage version of Luke? We get battle damage versions with Iron Man all the time. Go ahead, Optical.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that because right now they already have this Luke, so all they got to do is dirty him up. You know, maybe take out an arm. Just put some blood on his face. Maybe not call it a DX. I don't know. Maybe you can still call it a DX.
You can still call it a DX.
Yeah, put like a curse on it. Call it a DX. People are still gonna buy it, and their logic is gonna be like, "Hey, the DX07 costs around $600-700 anyway. If I buy both at this price point, let's say at $285 each, it still feels like I bought the DX07 at this price point, day and age, with better quality in head sculpt." So they would, I clearly see them like announcing this, not after this, not too long after this.
And even possibly including the weather vane, and to be extra picky, looking at the film and the weather vane, it's not screen accurate to the one that was delivered. I looked at it, the way the lights protrude, the way the antennas, it's about 80-90% accurate to what you got. But I'm looking at, let me see if there's a different shot I can show you. The weather vane is completely different, and this is the best one. I mean, it's, if you look at what the DX and collectors can say, well, hey, Kenobi, you're just splitting straws. And you're right, I could be splitting straws because the weather vane in the film, it's about 80-90% to what you got. I'm just saying that this is an opportunity to make it more screen accurate and include in the battle damage Bespin Luke, which again, if you look at the clothing, I mean, it looks like he's been through the ringer, and the final version, to me, I feel it just does not. So would you agree then, Mario, that this is definitely going to be in the future?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I brought it up the other night. I asked Aries about it, and apparently it blew his mind. But no, I can totally see Hot Toys doing this. They did it with Anakin, right? They released the light side Anakin, and I remember collectors were saying, "Hey, why don't you guys give us an extra head sculpt, with the Sith eyes, and make it a DX?" What happened shortly afterwards? They released a dark side Anakin, right? The same thing with the Mandalorian, with the Beskar version. They gave us the deluxe that we got. Everybody went gaga over that, including myself. And then not that long ago, they gave us a chrome-plated version now. So there's definitely a pattern of them doing this kind of stuff here, and I absolutely think that they will do it. Considering that, I think that what they showed right now with the Bespin Luke is the start or leading the way for the battle damage that may be announced May 4th. It's just a wild theory. I'm just speculating. But the May 4th announcements, they may possibly do something like this. And I think if they do it, they'll give us the weather vane. They'll give us everything. I think it'll definitely happen.
What do you think, PJ? You think we'll get a battle damage Luke with the weather vane? And
I think it depends on how many pre-orders they sell at this point, or how many figures this sells out. The one thing with the dark side Anakin was the reason why it was such an easy I would say reissue or release for Hot Toys was that the light side Anakin sold out pretty quickly. If you look at so I remember light side Anakin sold out right before dark side Anakin got announced.
I remember that.
So they are looking at the numbers and seeing how many pre-orders, because light side Anakin was fairly cheap around that time. This is $345 for the deluxe, and you barely get anything. All right, so let's say you pre-order from Sideshow, or you know what, you're one of those guys that wants it day one, right? So you buy from Hong Kong, $500. Do you really have that much money to get a Dunner battle damage, or do you even have? I don't know. To me, I just think that it's one of those things that, like, I think they're going to look at the numbers on this pre-orders for Luke Skywalker and see, You know, it's worth it to do a battle damage. Because one thing I think you mentioned in Kenobi is that when you look at Sideshow and look the amount of stuff that's in stock right now, when's the last time something sold out? I think Rey Skywalker was the last figure that sold out in Star Wars. And you know, Optical's right. You know, Star
You had
Wars
to
is
say
really
Rey
not
Skywalker,
the.
bro.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm being honest. I don't want to say her name, and I don't want to admit that she sold out, but she's the last figure that sold out.
Ray?
You know? Yeah, look at Lando. Look at Lando,
Yeah,
a legacy character.
That should be gone.
Yeah.
That should be sold out. Yeah.
$235. That's like $100, $110 less than this DX07. I mean, granted, Lando is not as popular as Luke Skywalker, but geez, $235? That's a steal. And I think you can get it in like Hong Kong for even cheaper. That thing is not moving. But I don't know. I just think that if they are gonna reissue it, it's gonna be a long time from now. They got so many other things that they gotta like focus their efforts on. I mean, Kenobi's coming out.
That's we're using that logic that you just presented in your comment is definitely something that I would stand behind at, in the year 2019 and before that.
Yeah.
The problem is I feel it's who's at the board of Hot Toys. I feel it's Kermit, Fozzie, Miss Piggy, Bongo running the production. It doesn't make any sense. Like, okay, 130 plus figures. You're not delivering figures to us Hot Toys, but yet you're going to throw us Bespin Luke out of left field. What?
It's not even a surprise because they kind of teased it in San Diego Comic-Con. So when they released it, they were like, finally, how about my Clone Wars Kenobi? When's that going to be up for pre-order?
Well, yeah, they've teased a bunch of stuff at Comic-Con. But nothing, there's not a lot that has been released yet. Airborne Troopers, the 332nd or whatever Obi-Wan squad was, those clones, some of the Jedi, freaking 3PO from the Clone Wars, Padme. There's so many other figures that haven't been released that were actually shown. So I mean, yeah, they did show us that back in 2019, but we're never really guaranteed that that's not vaporware or not, if it's actually going to come to fruition.
I think Mario, the pushing point for this is because they're gonna do the Mando Luke, so they already have the head sculpt. They were like, let's just throw a
For sure. Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Get into, as I keep looking at the photos, I agree with everybody. That's definitely
and it's Luke Skywalker. It's no like Airborne Trooper. Like you would.
The only reason they got made is because of the Mando Luke, which is Mando. I think is their priority.
They already had the parts made for it, right?
Right,
and then just recycled the outfits.
It's recycled head sculpt. Here you go. Sure, OT fans savor this because we're just gonna recycle his head anyway.
Minimal.
And it comes with minimal stuff. Oh my gosh.
Maybe PJ, you have a point here because if they do the battle damage, is this a big work for them to take off, like the arm, so is that going to be recycled? Because I know the outfit is going to be, but how about the arm? Like, is that a new engineering for their body?
Take the peg.
Take the peg.
No, they'll recycle everything that came with the original release when it comes to the battle damage start. That's all they got to do. They still have those molds. There's no reason why they couldn't do it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It would, I guess, so they would have to bring value. So if we're going to do a battle damage, Luke Skywalker with his hand cut off, it'll be the value in the same sense, like you mentioned, PJ, with the Dark Side Anakin. Dark Side Anakin did come with a droid. The value with Dark Side Anakin is it's the head sculpt, and it's part of the base, and it's part of the Brandon and so forth. Is marketed on that. So I just looked at it logically. Well, you have most of the components and you have the textiles and materials. So why not include the weather vane? Because that was one of the arguments I heard with the live streams. Well, it doesn't include the weather vane. Well, why would it? Because the weather vane was only used with a battle damaged Luke Skywalker. This is a clean version of Luke walking down the white corridors of Bespin, the Cloud City Bespin. So that's its interpretation on there. And so it would make sense that, but why would you include the base of Dagobah if you're not going to include the fatigues, right? So there's a lot of,
sorry. Like I said, it all depends on like I said, with Darkside Anakin, they made that because they knew it was an easy release for them because Lightside Anakin sold out. So it was like, okay, that's popular. Let's just paint his eyes yellow and add this droid, and here you go.
Dude,
Thank you so much,
actually-
Carlos. By the way, I want all 500 plus Hot Toys to be reissued. You're smoking something wacky there, Carlos. You're
A man
here,
strolling.
coming to Vegas. I'll hook you up with some good candies. All right, you'll see the light, not the dark side, the light side. I'll show you the way.
Single songwriter Lando blew up the second Death Star. Yeah,
Lando
that's
blew up
true.
the second dark. I don't mind them with the reissues. It's hard to get excited when you're sitting on so many pre-orders.
Yeah.
And you're looking into the future and like it just doesn't make any sense. Like this, it just nobody's pre-ordering, which I think is a good thing, because that's, to me, is the only way the market's going to stabilize. We can't have any more these 30,000 plus units like the Beskar Mando. Captain Rex is probably another 30,000 unit batch. The 501st, all of that stuff where they went bonkers. And I don't blame Hot Toys, because a lot of those figures and characters like Toontown, Ahsoka, 501st, Captain Rex, that was all during the stimulus money where we had collectors who weren't working or whatever, and they were handed free government money, and it was easy to just day one pre-order. And Mario mentioned something too, where people were comparing their sheets, and I saw that on Reddit too. Like, I have 48 pre-orders of 52, and what do you have? And I saw the screenshots of collectors, and I'm just like,
bragging about pre-orders.
that's not these aren't Pokemon cards. You're just like, this is not going to end very well. And I'm assuming you saw that on Facebook too. And I remember people were sending me the screenshots from Facebook, but they don't do that anymore because it's not in vogue now. I guess at one point in Facebook, it was vogue, or it was popular to show off your list. Now you're kind of like, oh, let's hide this from prying eyes. Reissue the Mark 46. No.
That guy, whatever his name is.
Look, you missed.
I think he gave up, right? I don't
I
see
think
him
he gave up.
anymore.
Yeah, he gave up.
No, for that price point, we should at least get 2 head sculpts. Hey, look, freedom isn't cheap. The more we keep sprinkling some of that democracy in China, some of that Western love that we so much enjoy, very different 10 years ago. 10 years ago, Hasbro could pump out a Legacy Millennium Falcon for what, $150? Toys R Us. Remember, Mario? Remember the good old days? You can get these phenomenal
It was
walkers.
like 200. It went on sale for like $100, didn't it? When they cleared out, yeah, man.
Amazon,
so they made it for like 30, 20 bucks or something like that.
Yeah, you can get that giant walker, the Legacy walker, all of that stuff. That's because the plastics were cheaper, the labor was cheaper, everything was just very different. Now China they want to be king of the castle now. That's it's going to come at a price. I know as collectors we all want to sit and play with toys, but sometimes you gotta catch up with some of the politics to understand why some of this stuff is climbing in very, very high. Lando might have blown up the Death Star, but
Lobot told him to.
Yeah, I still don't understand why Lando was supposed to. I don't understand why any of this. This is exactly what I was preaching, PJ. Right after this I referenced you one of our conversations, Optical. We talked about this shit a year ago.
I saw that.
Lando has
last night?
written all over him. Lando, legacy character, 230.
Yeah,
it's not a bad looking figure, but
yeah. And you know what? It's the last $230 Hot Toys figure with a head sculpt you're gonna get.
Yeah,
that's the last one. Everything is averaging to a
Stormtrooper. 230.
Yeah.
Troopers.
Look at Moon Knight. No Moon Knight. No portrait. 285.
Yep. But are they really 285 though? Kind of like if you wait a little bit, that would be 220.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting for the bubble to burst.
I want to. We're gonna address this question here. This is something that I think a lot of people, when they watch me, that they misunderstand me, where they feel I don't want a reissue because I want to protect the value. I honestly don't. At this point in the last 5 years, I don't care about the value. What I care about is holding that interest, right? And I'll give you a perfect example, Carlos, where Gamora took 2.5 years when she arrived here. I gave 2 piddles cents. I did not care about Gamora. She arrived here, and then within 48 hours, I sold her, and I got rid of her. I just did not care. And I don't mind look, I understand. I've heard the rumors. Hot Toys is getting another stimulus, and they're getting another bailout. They're in trouble again. And what better way to rile up the community than to release a character like Luke to generate funds? I don't know if any of this is true or not, but I don't care about reissues at this point, as my job is to curate the collection that I love and not wait 2.5 years. That's what I look at right now. When I look at a spreadsheet of 130, I don't care. You want to reissue Hot Toys? Fine, but go back to, if you can keep up to your yearly schedule of releases, fine. If these kids all want to subject themselves to the Tumbler, which I think is a piece of shit vehicle, one of their worst 1/6 scale vehicles, and everybody's excited for it, great. I went there, I lived it. I was not happy with the Bat Tumbler. You guys can knock yourselves out. But I get annoyed when you're throwing the Bat Tumbler and you're throttling the conveyor belt system, and then I have to wait extra longer because they see the value. And I'm all about capitalism. I love it. But I've been a supporter. I think I can maybe speak for the panel here. Most majority of us have been here for the long haul, and it's just about loyalty, right? And we can all say we've seen Hot Toys uploading videos of reaching out and like, oh, you're starting to notice now, huh? Hot Toys will always be king. I don't buy any of that nonsense with Queen Studios or XM, or I don't even buy the whole people going to statues, because here's the problem. Statues are being plagued with their own delivery problems too. I know, because I have a spreadsheet of pre-orders in statues, in Hasbro, in Hot Toys, and other toy markets, and I'm getting all the delays on it too. Hey, Kenobi, your blah 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 has been delayed from Mattel. My Grogu crib. They're I don't know if you remember. You probably don't know about this though, PJ. Mattel Creations had a Kickstarter on the Grogu pram. Their giant ass pram. Their little bubble. Did any of you?
I didn't know that.
Do you know about that, Optical?
No.
Mattel Creations, yeah. So that's been delayed. Yeah, they did like a 1/1 pram, which little hover pram, and so all of that.
Mattel actually got a Star Wars license, huh?
Huh?
That's the first time Mattel actually got a Star Wars license.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
Limited though, but yeah, it is Mattel Creations.
Well, I was gonna say, like Hot Toys keeps pumping out figures, and there's a lot of people like pre-ordering, and sometimes I see a lot of like collectors recently selling their collection and pre-orders as well. Like they're canceling their pre-orders. Do you think that like maybe the best step for Hot Toys is kind of do like a what's that called? Like a GoFundMe, not GoFundMe, Kickstarter, like what they did, like HasLab or something,
HasLab?
where look, oh, you want this figure, you gotta pay $300 and you're guaranteed, something like that.
There's something that was explained to me about why they can't, and it was a licensing agreement with Sideshow, and it's under a time lock, and I don't know what that. It's under a certain amount of time. Maybe when they approach the end of that timed contract, they may consider it, because I feel that's something that they need to figure out quickly if they want to grow as a company.
I heard some stuff that Hot Toys doesn't even have any licenses. That Sideshow has the licenses. That's why Sideshow got their balls.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like Sideshow has had the 1/6 scale license from the very beginning. Like, look at all the old like Commander Cody's, all these figures that they released back in the day, like the ARC Troopers, they made, I think, a Gamorrean Guard, all these figures, and they're all 1/6.
How would that work though? Because Hot Toys distributes their figures throughout the world without Sideshow. So wouldn't And they also have their on location retail stores that they sell the Hot Toys in China, in Shanghai, Hong Kong, in Japan. It's in Tokyo, Osaka. So I don't know if I would buy that. I honestly believe Hot Toys is licensed for the Star Wars, and they're going to hold on to it forever. It may be an expensive license. I've said that before, that the Marvel license is expensive, and for them to generate money to pay their licensing fee, they have to keep releasing characters to fundraise, kind of like a Paul. You have to borrow from Paul to pay Peter situation. They are exhibiting signs of a, hate this word, but of a pyramid scheme, where they're just keep releasing to stay afloat.
Because it's kind of weird because Sideshow sells like a Luke Skywalker, was that Endor? Was it Endor, the 2-pack? And then you have Hot Toys making the same figure, and then you also have Hot Toys making R2D2, and then Sideshow making R2D2 as well, and then Darth Vader. Like, how's that work? It's the same
Remember
scale.
when John from Queen said they don't have the license to distribute to the US. However, if they can find a partner who has the license to distribute to the US, then they can partner up with them.
Yeah.
I believe that's the relationship between Hot Toys and Sideshow. Remember, Hot Toys has been with Sideshow since the eons of Hot Toys. They probably don't have any power or anything.
Yeah.
They signed their life away to Sideshow. And I think that's the contract that they have. That was like Sideshow's like, all right, we'll take care of you. Don't have to pay this license.
They may have the lock and key to sell Disney to sell Star Wars and Marvel in the continental US. That by far, that's where they may be holding them by the balls. Like, if you want to sell your shit here in the US, you got to go through us.
Right.
And this is our license. Yeah.
We'll let you borrow the Star Wars license.
Exactly. So you're licensed to sell, kind of like Queens, where you're licensed to sell around the world, but you want in here, if you want to get past this port, you gotta grease the wheel type situation.
Yeah. It makes me think, like, maybe that Luke Skywalker figure is only maybe 150, and then Sideshow has like, that's how much like Sideshow's paying. Yeah, like super wholesale price.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if that Luke Skywalker, the one we're getting now.
Yeah.
It probably costs Hot Toys $30 to make that, and then they sell it to Sideshow for like $50. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
So just how retail works.
Yeah, I would have said probably cost them like $50, $50 to $60, and only because of the amount of labor it takes, because those head sculpts are still hand painted. Now, if they're hiring children, probably 40.
Probably like 40 cents to do that.
Oh my gosh! No wonder they could they got
not
small fingers.
So small because they got small hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Very well, a lot of this stuff is made by children over there. Nobody ever wants to see the chicken get slaughtered, but everybody enjoys those chicken nuggets.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
I was born there.
Ignorance is bliss. So
that's it. Ignorance is bliss. I've always said that. And the more you sprinkle more democracy, and they all want to start driving cars now, and go to the movies and taste some of that Western life. Yeah, it's their demand tends to climb up. But no, I've always been a big supporter of Kickstarters for any company that does it, because it's a limited batch, and once they move forward, and it's a done deal. It is a complete done deal.
I was going to ask you, Kenobi, I know you're good with like the numbers, and how many like in stock items are there in Sideshow in terms of Hot Toys?
Oh my God, I want to say it's over 200. But it's over 230 or something. But that's with the little cross babies, with the little
like 7 pages.
Yeah. But I filtered it. I went in and I audited my sheet to only show pre-orders that are still in the pre-order. Now, that would still include like the 2-pack Boba Fett's, because I know that there's still people that have some in the US have gotten their 2-pack, but they have not gotten their full shipment on a lot of this stuff. I day one pre-ordered Golden Armor Wonder Woman, right? That was back in 2020 when I was still day one pre-ordering. She hasn't shipped from Sideshow yet. Where
Wow.
the F is she? Where I want her. I'm talking about the deluxe. The deluxe is on back order. They're like, they haven't gotten it yet.
Some do. I know Mila got hers, so I know they ship.
The deluxe version or the regular version? The regular
The
version.
regular version is on wait list.
Okay. So
the deluxe is still on pre-order.
Now I know some collectors in the community have the deluxe, but they clearly went through Hong Kong retailers and things like that. But I was a day one pre-order on the Wonder Woman Deluxe, the more expensive one through Sideshow.
You should have got, yeah.
I don't have her yet.
You should have gotten. I mean, they weren't pre-ordered it.
They haven't, but the point is that they haven't received all of their shipments for the day one pre-orders. They'll get maybe what 20 like a couple boxes to sprinkle them out there, but what 10-20% out of their 100% pre-order. You know what I'm trying to explain? They don't have it all. That's why a lot of this stuff still is marked under pre-order because they haven't fulfilled and completed their pre-order deliveries. I know Wonder Woman is on that list. The Book of Boba Fett, those 2 packs, they still haven't gotten them all. There's a few others too. I think the Tank Assault Commander. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Kramer. Like I said, I'm a day one pre-order. That was back in 2020 when I was lazy, and I'm like, and then by the end of 2020, I'm like, something's not making sense here. And it really was at the end of 2020 during that whole situation where we weren't getting any deliveries at all. And I go, this is not a good sign. You don't have, and at that point in time, when I started bringing it up, it was 30 plus. To me, 30 plus pre-orders that are in delay, to me, I found that scary. I'm like, oh shoot, I want a lot of these characters and they haven't shipped yet. And a lot of collectors at the time didn't take it seriously. You did optical though. I got you on proof. You were like, yeah, Kenobi, they don't know what. I got you in that live stream last year, early on the spring. I forgot when it was. I had it dated. I don't know if you saw that last stream I did, but I referenced one of our clips when you talked about it, and when we talked about it. But like the math a year ago wasn't adding up, and if you think it wasn't adding up back then, to me it's worse now. I'm like, ooh, it's some scary shit going on here.
Yeah. It is scary because there's more shows going to be like coming out, more figures that's going to be made or go up for pre-order.
So I have
like,
to I have to say this. I'm looking. This is my last note here, and I want to say it on this live stream so that I can timestamp it because I feel I'll be referencing this clip. Hold on, let me get this out of here. So this is my theory. My theory is that I've had several people come tell me that Hot Toys has received another bailout stimulus money to hire more helper labor. What I fear now is that when everything opens back up, they're going to stamp up production full blast. They're going to probably hire more labor. They're going to probably hire more children to paint more head sculpts. And then what I now will foresee is a deluge of invoices coming in where there'll be periods within, if this is my theory, this is when I'm going to mark it here so I can pull this references back next year so then I can wag my finger and say I told you so. For them to catch up of 131 pre-orders, you're going to have to hire more help, hire rent, or the way it was Big Brother was explained, you have to lease more factories. You can ramp up production, and to the point that now you've reached a point where now you can ship out 3 to 4 figures, and most collectors are probably not going to be able to handle that, get in multiple invoices. So there could be a potential time where you'll get an invoice every day from Sideshow from one of your Hot Toy if you did pre-order it. If you did not pre-order it, then you should be fine. It just means that every few days Hot Toys will be announcing a figure into delivery, back to back. There's been releases where Hot Toys have released multiple figures in one evening. We've seen that optical Mario. We've seen that PJ, where in one night, hey, they've just released 3 figures in one night. That's my prediction. My prediction is that if this is all true, this is just like a tsunami wave coming in. Hey, we're going to catch up, kids. We're start shipping them out. Boom, boom, boom. The ports have opened. We've hired more kids to paint the head sculpts, and we've leased out more factories. We got the money. We got our investment from the government, whatever. Boom. And then you start to see the pre-order start to shrink. I will point that out because I'm kind of keeping a track of that. If I see any evidence, if I smell like a fart of them accelerating deliveries, I will run up to the church bell and ring the bell. You know, the British are coming. The British are coming. But that's my prediction. I don't know how any of you would see them coming out of this, but that's the only way I see this story ending.
Then I'll play, like you said, like I'll play devil's advocate here. What if the reason there's so many pre-orders is not because of their labor, you know, like they need to hire more people, but what if there's really not much people who's pre-ordering? That's why they keep on delaying these things, because they don't have enough units to move. Is that possible as well? Like let's say, you know what? That's the reason why we keep on pushing Loki, because we, at least before we ship this out, we want 1,000 units of Loki, but we're at this point, we're only at 600. So damn, let's just keep on delaying this thing, and maybe we'll get more, and by that time, you know, we can ship it all at once. Maybe that's the reason why they have this 134, is because, all right, they keep on finding ways to gather more funds, yet they keep on announcing figures, yet yes, some people are pre-ordering, but they're not getting enough money. So therefore, I was like, should we really go forward with this project while we only have this much units tied in? Because, like, you know, we said it, like, people are going to be like, I like Lando. And then here he is sitting down. So now they keep on, all right, let's announce this. Let's announce this. So this is our way of recouping money for those big figures that we announce, yet no one's pre-ordering, so we can't really move forward because we only have like 300 units committed to this one or something.
But is that really their fault, or is that Sideshow? I mean, considering that they're the official distributor over here, along with some other places over there, you know, across the pond. So technically, Sideshow would the one to be steering that. They're going to be ordering way more than, you know, what Hot Toys would expect, you know, from anyone over there locally. Right. But, so I think it's Sideshow that might be driving those numbers as well.
But like, if you are Hot Toys, regardless of Sideshow drives that or not, if you have another like Stormtrooper, would that really, you know, regardless of who's your distributor, no one's pre-ordering because they're just not interested. Like the Kenobi, like the interest is lost.
Lost.
Yeah. So far, that's all the figures that we're getting, either Star Wars or Marvel. So there's no interest right there. Some people are saying it's like, oh, I love that, but are they really committing to pre-orders? If they're not, they would announce something. They're not going to get the deposit. How am I going to move forward releasing this if I only have X much unit? Otherwise, I'd create more backlog. You know,
I think what and to answer Carlos's question, that's exactly what I was theorizing. Is that if the tidal wave did come, it would definitely be a crash, and it would definitely, if you were a collector that painted yourself into a corner with multiple pre-orders, that's exactly what would happen. So going back to optical theory, because you actually bring up a good point. Now, what you're suggesting is, so what I have seen, what the behavior that I have seen Hot Toys exhibit is that they're very what's the word? Not prejudice. They play favorites, and they throttle smaller, which I don't understand why they do this. So, example, they'll ignore the 2 crappy Harley Quinns from Birds of Prey, which I'll be picking up on discount, and then focus all of their force power into making 30,000 Beskar armors to get them unloaded quicker. We saw an example.
Don't get me. It's like it's traumatizing. The Beskar Deluxe armor, please.
Yeah, and now we'll never ever run out. So it's kind of like where you take all of your troops in the field, and you know, like Yoda, concentrate your firepower in the nearest cannon, you know. So you are neglecting production lines over here to make the Lokis or whatever, because you're following the pop cultural trends of the Book of Boba Fett, which they may have accelerated that because they were terrified maybe they did see the end of the show. Wouldn't that be funny? They're like, holy, this show's gonna end on a bad note. We need to step up. We need to step up these 2-packs and get them unloaded, which is what I said. I'm like, the way the show was received commercially in public opinion, they may have been tipped off to accelerate that, because the 2-packs did arrive early by 2 months versus other characters in pre-order 2 years. Loki, 2019 Loki, right? What? So that type of behavior is chasing the dollar. We need to have the money coming in here. We can't have stuff sitting in. Let's chase the money because we're financially in trouble. Again, I don't know, but that's the behavioral pattern you would exhibit if you're trying to generate cash very fast if things are in trouble.
I think they're doing it the wrong way. I think they're making characters that we think we want, but we really don't want. Like, do you want like a classic Loki? If you have other characters that you probably want in your collection.
So
I mean, for example, look, what happened to Peter Parker, the Peter Parkers in Spider-Man No Way Home? You know, like, would you rather pick a classic Loki over a Spider-Man movie? It's one of those things like, okay, you know, like, you have to be a pretty hardcore Loki fan, which I know there are out there. I know Optical knows a couple, and we all know a couple, but like, really, do we need that many Lokis in your collection?
Well, playing
That
devil's
Loki's
advocate,
like
they
3
can say the
years.
exact same thing too. Why do we need so many damn Boba Fetts? Right?
Yeah, I mean, but it's creating this, you know. But Boba Fett compared to Loki, like, Boba Fett has always been like a classic character. Loki's always been a side character, like a B-level character, sometimes C. It's not like an Iron Man. It's not like
So
a Scarlet Witch, maybe.
This is why I wanted you on the panel, PJ, because I'm gonna dish out some facts here for you. This is why this is so cool, because you not only love Star Wars, I mean, you trust Star Wars, and you love it so that sometimes that love tends to kind of blind you. It's kind of like horse blinders. So out of the Disney Plus shows, the highest viewed show, the highest, you would
It's Boba
probably
Fett.
guess. Which one would you guess out of the highest? And this is for Marvel. This is for Moon Knight. This is for Star Wars. They're Disney Plus original shows. Which out of all of them do you think had the highest views from the start to the very end?
Boba Fett.
Wasn't it WandaVision?
Well, how about you, Optical?
It's probably Loki, because that's the only one who got like a season 2.
Loki blew out record ass numbers. And if you found out, and I should have pulled up the chart because John Campia talked it, because it was released to the Hollywood Variety, a trusted news source. Loki was #1 from the very start from the start to the end. And the only reason Wanda did not achieve that is because Wanda's numbers grew exponentially to the end. Loki had high numbers from the beginning to the end. Boba Fett started high, and it was a super slide all the way down.
Yeah, but I'm talking about as the character with the history of the character.
No,
like,
no, PJ. You were
I mean, views.
why
I
you're
mean,
making so many hot toy
views is a
characters off of
different
these
story
shows.
for the popularity of the character. Like, I would see more Boba Fett cosplayers than Loki cosplayers, in my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong.
I would argue as well, PJ, that Boba Fett is so much easier for Hot Toys to make than the classic Loki. Because Boba, they already have the head sculpt for tomorrow. You know, it's there. They have the armor. All they got to do is repaint it. So it's just logical for them to make it. It's kind of like re-releasing another Stormtrooper. So
yeah. So for me, like, okay, in terms of popularity, like, I compare classic Loki or Loki to maybe a Bo-Katan, right? Like, she's popular, but she's not like Luke Skywalker, or, you know, like, you would want multiples of a Luke Skywalker. Would you want multiples of a Loki?
He doesn't that heroic effect. I know what you mean. Like
Yeah, it's not like
It's not that iconic of a character. It doesn't have that legacy.
It has
as like
yeah, it
an
has
Yeah.
A-list,
gotta
so
love. It's like
in
the
this,
Crow.
in this
You know, he's
game
a
is
cool
what
figure, but
it's all, and I will agree with Denobi. Let's I'll play devil's advocate to your like I have Star Wars, I have blinders. Like Queel, right? Queel, awesome character, but who's a Queel fan?
I enjoyed the character.
It's Mandalorian. That's why he got made.
It's Mandalorian. Yes.
Mandalorian. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say
Mandalorian was a
okay.
national treasure. You
Okay.
can't
So
compare
let's
Book of Boba Fett to the Mandalorian.
all right. So
Grogu,
let's
he was birthed out of the Mandalorian. I mean, God bless that show, huh?
all right. So like Queel. Let's say okay, Queel. Let's make a battle damage Queel. Would anyone buy that?
Oh, now come on, PJ.
not-
Now
I know.
you're
I'm just saying. I know.
You're
I'm
reaching
comparing.
out
I'm comparing
because you
Loki
know
to
very
Queel. It's
well-
not. It's not
What-
fair.
You know
what
very
about-
well when Boba Fett
Could you
showed up
compare
on
Loki
those
to the
Best
Frog
Buy-
Lady?
Huh?
I was gonna say, can you compare Loki to the Frog Lady? Is that a better comparison than Quill? I mean,
and you know PJ, you know, I work
Mhm.
from home. You know, I always enjoyed listening to your Sith podcast, and on multiple
Yeah.
occasions I did
Look.
catch you always referencing the best episodes of the Book of Boba Fett were the ones that Boba Fett was sidelined. I
Yeah,
remember
no,
that.
I agree. I agree with you. But again, I'm a Star Wars like fanatic. You know, I'm talking about like your average Star Wars fan, or even our average Marvel fan or Marvel collector. Like if I like, you know, what Optical said like before, it's like which would be the definitive character like you would want in your collection. You won't want the first Captain America. You want the end game Captain America. You don't want the classic Loki in your collection. Unless you have like a whole bunch of classic comic book looking characters in your collection. Yes,
Mhm.
then I could see that. But like
So-
I'm saying, like if I were just an average Marvel collector, I would only want that the Endgame Loki, because that's like definitive.
the latest and greatest.
To your
Yeah.
point, TJ, I think we all know the biggest Loki and Kylo fan is Will. And
I know, and I'm
I don't know why, but he is.
yeah.
This Loki fan
Yeah.
out there is still iffy on this classic Loki. That's you know, like if it was me, I was that big of a fan, I'll probably pick it
Yeah.
up.
Loki
Even him.
has, yeah, it had very good numbers, and Loki, the show, segues into Doctor Strange and the Multitude of Madness with the and it'll also segue into the Ant-Man quantum universe, right?
Yeah.
Book
I
of
would
Boba
see-
Fett,
Yeah.
Book of Boba Fett, right? Is still a running meme. It's
Yeah, but
Not
let's
based
not
on
let's
it.
not talk about the shows. I'm talking about the characters. Like
oh,
you're not.
I love Boba Fett from the classic trilogy.
Yeah,
the
but I'm talking.
150-pound Jeremy Bullock
Yeah,
that fell into the Sarlacc pit, not
Yeah,
not the
abso-
retiree that crawled
totally,
out.
totally understand. But like I'm talking about, like Tom Hiddleston is the Loki. Like that guy, the classic Loki, is cool. But I mean, would you want that figure in your collection, or do you want a Tom Hiddleston Loki?
Oh, you're referring to the variant, the variant Loki.
Classic-
Yeah,
yeah,
the classic looking. Yeah,
Yeah, because especially for that, like he's what, like 285 or something like that.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, cool looking figure. But like Optical said, like every figure the Hot Toys make is awesome
Cool.
looking.
They
Yeah.
look all, but
Yeah, but like to see a classic Loki be released almost a year later,
that was a
or pre
popular- And you're right. And you know,
but we're Spider-Man.
I'll defend but the only reason it fell into a late delay was because of the current situation. They're burying themselves. I'm pretty positive when that classic Loki was teased last year, was it November or something? It was probably meant to be released a little bit sooner.
Yeah,
Make no mistake, the Loki series not only was greenlit for a second season, but it was the highest viewed. It even beat out the only show that came underneath it was The Mandalorian, and then WandaVision. WandaVision was word of mouth. It skyrocketed in views
Yeah.
until the very end. Book of Boba Fett fiddled out, and then the one episodes that picked up the views, Boba Fett was absent, and then everybody just argued that those were the best ones. Well, you have Luke there and Grogu and Mando wielding a black sword, so Yeah, I guess. I guess.
But Kenobi, I get it. Like the numbers are great for. I get it. Like Boba Fett sucks. The show
But
sucks.
you're saying,
But
you're
like,
saying,
but
though, PJ, why would they make a variant Loki? I'm telling you, because people loved the show and they probably loved the character. Did they
You
like?
don't think
Boba
that was
Fett in the
actually
back of
more of a flex? I think that was more of a Howard Chan flex towards what was it, So
I
Toys
feel
that
like
released
yeah,
that. I think that's what that was more than anybody actually wanting that character in that collection. That was a
yeah.
statement, dude. That's all that was.
I think it's like, you know, like
Didn't they
it's
do
so
that already with the President Loki? Where that was another.
Yeah.
You think or
Another one.
I think
Another one.
Yeah.
they gambled on the low. Maybe the license is cheap. I don't know. It's Tom Hiddleston, but like
Yeah.
the Loki's one. Like if you're like an average collector, if you're not anyone not named Will, what's the market for this? You know, like really, like if you think about it, why invest in this? Like how many Lokis do and I love Marvel.
We're
I
that's
just need one.
but Jedi Council, please listen to me. We have the Star Wars goggles on. That's the problem. You have to
no,
open up.
Optical doesn't.
I don't even like Star Wars.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, no, but like
you have to look at it. You have to look at it within that quantum mania dimension and understand it. I can get it. Like I didn't day one pre-order it. I didn't, but I understood that it was a popular show. It was Tom Hiddleston. Same thing for like Moon Knight. People love Oscar Isaac. It's a good show. I enjoy it. I'm not going to day one pre-order Moon Knight, but I like numbers, and there is a lot of trusted movie sources, that cover that's genuine, that tell you that it was not well received. I get it. There are fans out there that did enjoy the Book of Boba Fett. It was poorly received. Out of all the Disney shows, which one is still being picked on?
Yeah,
I
but
get it. But
Loki just doesn't have the badass to him that, you know, like even if you don't like Daredevil, for example, you don't like the show.
Yeah,
but you see the figures, like, man, this is badass. I want this. Like the entire Loki lineup. The one is wearing, like, you know, I don't know, President Loki,
yeah, and then
it's just not comic book looking. Like they just don't have that toy aspect to them. For me, I mean, would I pick that up at 220? I would be like, I don't know. Maybe at 150, that classic Loki. It's just that I know what you're saying, PJ. It's like saying that, Avatar is the best selling movie of all time. And I don't want to take Sully. You're like,
exactly. That's
but that argument has been used against Iron Man on so many occasions. Why are they making another Iron Man?
But that's Iron Man. This is close. This is Loki. This is not Iron Man. Iron Man is like, not only because it's like resonates throughout all of Marvel, and thankfully it's because of Robert Downey Jr. But I mean, it's Iron Man.
Yeah,
like Luke. They can have like a gazillion Luke Skywalker, and it's still badass.
Yeah, it's still badass.
So let me ask you something. When was the last time we saw Tamora Morrison in a Star Wars media? Right? What the voiceovers for the cartoons for the tune? I mean, what has Tom Hiddleston has been in not only in the Avengers films, but he's been in multiple Avenger sequels. He's had a cinematic MCU presence. You're making it seem that you're comparing Loki to the TV show to the last time you saw him was back in 2012. Loki, the character, Tom Hiddleston, has been actively working and has been actively engaged in the MCU up until Endgame. Remember the last time we saw him? It was in Endgame when we saw him die. This is a trickster god that we could always death. So,
but look at the comments. But though, like a lot of people agree that Book of Boba was trash. Okay, but it's Boba Fett. Like you would rather dress up as Boba Fett than the Loki.
I would rather dress up as Boba Fett from the classic trilogy, and that's something that I've tried desperately in YouTube land to segregate, because a lot of collectors don't watch the Toontown Adventures of the Clone Wars. I've never seen any of those Rebel cartoons. I like classic trilogy Boba Fett, who fell into the Sarlacc pit at 150 pounds, a badass, and then he crawled out like an asthmatic retiree with like the Spider-Man Ned character wearing the suit, never wearing a helmet, couldn't battle the shield ninjas, and he had the pig guards rushing back to the ER. It was a farce, PJ. It was a joke.
I get it, dude. I agree. Okay, I agree. Hey, Kenobi.
You gotta.
Okay,
You
Book of
gotta.
Boba. But the thing is, I'm talking about
You
like
don't.
the character itself. Like, not talking about the show. Like, classic Loki is not someone like a lot of people. I mean, in my opinion, I could be wrong, unless there's like a lot of like Loki fans that I don't know about. But I just think that a lot more people wouldn't get the classic Loki, and I just don't think that like that should be released because we're still waiting on the Spider-Man figures from No Way Home.
Who first said it was a flex? Says, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, was it you, Optical? Because you're probably right. That now that I think about it,
Mario did. Yeah.
Was it you, Mario? You're probably right.
It was a flex. It was an absolute flex.
I think the entire
Loki
Loki was a flex.
It was 100%. It was a 100% flex. Absolutely.
You know, no one needs that many Lokis.
Yeah.
No one does.
Yeah.
Because right now, I have no dog in this fight. I have not seen a single episode of Book of Boba. I've seen every episode of Loki, and I honestly didn't like it that much.
Did you see the first episode for the Book of Boba Fett, or
I
no?
have never seen. I have no desire to see a single episode of that show.
Okay, I saw the first.
If you give me a toy of those two, I would still pick Boba because he just have that, you know, like I guess badass aspect.
That presence.
Yeah, that presence. Then a classic Loki that. I've seen that. I've seen the entire Loki series is not like Mandalorian where you need to have like every single character and you know make a I don't know like a scene out of it. It's just not. Maybe you need Loki, Sylvie, and that's it. You know, if you're a fan.
Yeah, I would get a Sylvie over classic Loki.
Yeah, I would get a Sylvie too. Yeah,
yeah. I just think
James, I agree with you on this comment. I was open to interpretation. When I saw him at the end of season 2, I'm like, okay, it's different. I sense the problem with an old fogey like me is that I have a problem with continuity errors. I can't let stuff like that go. So I was willing to overlook some of the challenges of bringing in this character who was missing for 5 years and decides to, I need my armor. And I'm like, what the F, what have you been doing for the last 5 years? Now you want to go look for your armor? I was willing to overlook, to suspend disbelief in somewhat not bad writing, just a little bit of lazy writing, why Boba Fett would want to search for his armor after a 5-year hiatus. I had a problem with that. So when I saw the first episode of Book of Boba Fett, I saw all of the lazy tropes right there in that first episode. And I said, oh, nope, not for me. Done. And as the show progressed, people started bringing in problems, and I saw that. And then it got better, Kenobi 5 and 6 when he wasn't around. That's bad writing, folks. That's bad writing. Now, I was accused of being hard on the show, but I don't discriminate against Marvel and Star Wars. I watched the first episode for Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I said, hell no, that's a bad show. I never cared about Hawkeye. And I have yet to see Black Widow. I love Marvel. I have yet to see Black Widow, her film. It's free on Disney Plus. I just do not care. That's just
have you seen Eternals, Kenobi? Have you seen Eternals?
Oh God, no. Oh no.
Yeah, it's free on Disney Plus. I haven't seen it either.
No.
Yeah, but but they're making those figures. But here's my point is the main point out of all the things that I was trying to say is that like. Are we getting like to the point where it's just too many figures, like too many unnecessary figures? Like just get the key characters, like Spider-Man. Where's the Spider-Man figures? Like release them. You know, like we don't need classic Loki. Like wait for the community. Like listen,
hold on 1 second. James, I know I made you a moderator. There's spam on the live chat. I'm pretty sure I gave like 5 people control. I gave it to you, James. I gave it to Bob. I gave it to P-Rock. I didn't give it to you, Pete. I should have. I didn't give it to. There's a couple people, but I'm pretty sure I gave it to James. But anyway, James, if you can get rid of that spam, I greatly appreciate it. I'm sorry, Pete. You can go ahead.
No, but like I just think that like there's way too many shows coming out, especially Multiverse of Madness. I'm pretty sure supposedly Professor X is going to be in it. Well, it's not supposedly. I think he is in it. So Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic. You're gonna get another Iron Man, the Tom Cruise Iron Man. there's way too many cooler characters. I think that Hot Toys needs to be a little bit more picky, especially if you're charging $285 a figure to release these characters. It's just like, I know they want to flex, but damn, really, like, cool, like, you flex, but you're flexing on third-party
Loki.
companies that, yeah, you're flexing on Loki, like
Like,
Right,
I-
and
oh, go
will
ahead.
they actually want to flex if all these rumors about them needing a bailout are actually true? Is that like the wisest thing to actually do? Is to let
Yeah.
your ego get the best of you, just
Yeah.
for the sake of making a point.
yeah, that's great.
But if they
it's a
want to
great point.
flex on
Yeah,
Joker,
that financially doesn't make sense. Yeah.
get a Joker, price it at $350. That's a flex. That looks
Yes, that's a
those.
flex.
If you want to raise money really fast, right? I mean, we saw them do this in 2020 when they reissued the Mark V, when they reissued the Mark 42 quarter scale, when they reissued a couple other. They brought back the experimental tech Tony Stark.
The tech suit.
The flight.
The mech test.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah. All of that to me was raising capital very quickly. And then like a month later, people were like sending me like PDFs like, yeah, Kenobi, they're in trouble. Look at this. Look at what the government's been giving them. I'm like, I go, you do what you have to do as a business. I mean, no business is ever innocent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's never 100% secure. Look at Sears and Roebuck. Over 100 years, they controlled the mail order market. They ignored the internet, and Amazon came and took them out. Kodak, same thing.
Yeah.
Toys R Us, all of these companies. No one's. This is a new world we're living in.
It's pride. Yeah, I think it's pride too. It's like, I mean, look at I'm looking at Sideshow's website. I'm looking at the amount of figures that's still available, and we're still getting more. And I'm just questioning, because you know what it is too. I look at like the buy and sell trade groups, and dude, Mary, I don't know if you've seen it, but dude, people are unloading on their collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that too a lot lately. A lot of people, a lot of collectors are getting out of 1/6 in general. I've seen it the past couple weeks. I'm curious as to what's going on.
Tapping out. That's tapping out. We actually, me and Optical actually talked about it last year too. It was one of our. It'd get overwhelming, and then you end up just tapping out. That's exactly what would happen. And I'm telling you, this is the storm we're in right now. Just be careful. Everybody here seems to be smart. Day one pre-order. This stuff is going to go. It'll go into discount. Make your purchases wherever you need to. If it's overseas, if it's locally, or whatever. And it's going to go up in value. I think we know that, but it's going to be a long ass time.
I gotta wait.
Long ass time.
It goes lower before it goes higher.
It's going to go lower before it's going to go higher. I've said it. The Ahsokas and all those. All you have to do is look at, if you want to have an idea of what's going to dip below retail before it climbs back up. It's the pre-orders that dropped in the last 6 months of 2020, and it was all that Clone Wars tchotchkiness. All of that stuff is just going to go lower before it climbs up higher. Hot toys will always climb up in value. It just takes forever. And it's only like less than 1% of certain characters that never climb up in value. Mandalorian, right? Iron Man 3's Mandalorian, Electro. There's a couple others. The aliens from Avengers that'll never.
The Chitauri, they're still in stock. They're still in stock on Sideshow. That's crazy.
Yeah, I've done them. It's like 1%. It's a small fraction, but for the most part, every other Hot Toys figures, if you give it enough time, you can either sell it at retail or it turns into a chase, into a grail. Always. I'm gonna end it here because this is fun. This is awesome. PJ, you're not mad at me though. I wasn't picking. Mario, was I picking on him? I don't want people to be mad at me.
No.
I was at Kenobi.
You know, like
PJ is passionate, man. I think
he's a sensitive.
Nah. You guys.
No, we're cool. Then I was like, oh, here we go. Book of Boba. Yeah, here we go.
We'll hang on. Anytime I could take a dump on that show, I always.
I know.
No,
it's all love from me though.
I got confirmation, by the way. I'm going to Celebration. I'll be there for a couple of days. So
hey, all right.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'll be there Thursday and Friday. I have to fly out Friday because I work on the weekend. I couldn't get time off for that.
Well, I'll see you Friday.
Yep. So I'll be there Thursday. I'll be flying in Wednesday night, and then I'll be there for Thursday, Friday, and then I'll rush home to catch Kenobi. Because when does Kenobi start? Is that Thursday,
Friday
right?
night,
Friday
Friday.
night.
Thursday,
Well, Thursday
Thursday
over,
night,
yeah.
technically midnight.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that optical? I know you don't. You're gonna see Kenobi, right?
I'm gonna see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's be good.
I'm
Kenobi's good.
looking for that Kenobi reissue. So not
Yeah.
reissue, but you know.
Yeah, I have high hopes for Kenobi. I really do. I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
do. I think Kenobi.
We shouldn't. We absolutely shouldn't. But I mean,
Yeah, it
yeah,
looks.
I can understand. I can understand why we all do.
Oh, well,
by the
I'll tell
way,
you one thing. There's a couple positives with Kenobi, and I know people are like, "Well, the KK witch, Kathleen Kennedy witch is the what I like is that Ewan McGregor is an executive producer and he has final say on the script, which I know
Mhm.
used to mean something but doesn't mean anything anymore because Patrick Stewart and Picard, he has final say on the script, and the show is just shit with Star Trek. So anyway, but it's one writer, and then the director, she directs all of the episodes, all
All of
6
it,
episodes.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
the nice thing about that is that when I see the first 2 episodes, I'm pretty confident I'll be able to know if this is going to be a good show or not. If it's a shit show, I will absolutely tap on it. I love Ewan McGregor as Kenobi. Fucking
Oh.
love him. But if they
Kenobi,
do
the
the
last-
wrong, I'm done. I'm not watching the rest of the show.
Well, remember one of the last times we had a single director direct the entire series and write an entire series was George Lucas with the prequels. Instead of that, so
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh, I was gonna say Kenobi in Celebration. I heard that there's going to be a big, huge panel on the continuation of Book of Boba. It's called the novelization of Boba Fett. No, I'm just kidding. There's
They should it'll be
I
Boba
was
Fett.
like,
The next chapter.
Boba Fett, the Wonder Years, or Boba Fett at Shady Acres. You know, he'll be in his electric wheelchair going up the ramp and for like playing shuffleboard, and he needs to. He's too old and fat. He needs to go away. No. Can
Yeah.
you did he was that rocket pack strong enough to did he fly in the show? Did he
He flew. Yeah.
really? That rocket that picked him up?
the last episode, they were both flying around in their jetpacks, and all of a sudden
Did
they
he
Oh,
they landed on the ground. Yeah.
Really?
Kenobi.
Mhm.
what?
We all know that you watched it.
You
Minus 10 points.
There's
PJ?
there's that meme going around about Kenobi watching it.
No, I've never. No. No, I'm so picky. You don't understand me. If anybody's known me, I would rather go hike out in the mountains and listen to music, soundtracks, and I've gone through this point in my life. I like tuning out technology, but I do like good shows. I do like watching good TV, and I just do. I find it troublesome to waste my time on bad shows in a competitive streaming market that we're in right now. So. I'm going to end it here. Optical, we'll go down the road. Optical, thank you so much for joining in. I know I promised to keep it under 2 hours, but if I don't stop now, I will keep taking more dumps on Boba Fett and
It's been fun. It's always nice to take a dump on PJ. So,
Oh,
Oh, ouch.
and some people do like that sometimes.
that was for James. Do you have anything coming up, Optical?
not stream.
Okay.
Not
All right.
streaming anymore. But yeah, I think I'm gonna review 2012 Kappa. Just got it recently. So yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
I need to
nice.
review something. I need to get back. I'm starting to feel rusty on boxing reviews. I gotta get back and do that. How about you, Mario? Thank you so much for joining.
No, thanks for having me on, man. It's always a pleasure. And
Yeah.
it's great to see Optical and PJ again, man. That's pretty cool. That was fun, man.
I know, man.
Yeah. It's hard to
Yeah,
get
so he's so busy, right? Yeah, man, I've got a Prime 1 Mother Dragon statue coming in next week. I don't plan to go live on that thing, but I'll definitely be documenting it, so I'll probably put something out on that. I've also got the Damn Toys Godfather latter years coming out. So that should be here hopefully sometime next week, and I'll probably go live with that as well. So yeah, come check me out on my channel, ElProfessoro, and yeah, hope to see y'all there.
Nice. How about you, PJ? Are you going to come back to YouTube land? You've been taking a break.
Oh yeah, I took actually I'm no more. Well, I only do the podcast. You know,
The Sith
it's a
podcast?
nice little. Yeah, it's just nice little small podcast which I enjoy.
I love listening to your Sith. It's so whimsical. That's the best way. But I love it.
Well,
But I listen to it.
Oh, that's good. Thank you. I appreciate that. No, but in terms of my channel, I took I'm not gonna stream anymore. No more streaming from me. I'm trying to slowly get back into reviewing stuff. And if anything, I'm just gonna have fun with the channel. I'll do like some Book of Boba episode review. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm gonna do just be our basic reviews and I don't know, something cool. I don't know. Mostly Star Wars stuff, obviously, and some some Queen Studios maybe products here and there. So yeah, besides that, nothing really planned. But I will get back to reviewing stuff. I just took a nice little long break.
Me too.
Which is good.
I don't think I've reviewed anything. It's just been busy and the whole situation. It's not very fun.
Yeah.
You have to be excited, and the characters that I want to review are just in limbo, and I'm just not excited. It's just
I mean, it takes a lot too, right? It's what people don't realize, like reviewing figures and editing, and it's like you're shooting your own movie, but you're doing everything. You're doing the lighting, you're doing the editing, you're doing the voiceovers. It's a long process, but I miss doing that, so I want to get back on the saddle. It's fun doing reviews. I enjoy your reviews, Kenobi.
I need to get back into it because when I have fun, it shows in my unboxings and I haven't had that excitement because everything is just backed up and it's different. It's just, I don't know. You know what the next one is? I would look forward to and having fun would be Anakin on the step, and that's showing up sometime in August. So it's you see it's Anakin on the step. I think I would be excited to unbox and kind of experiment to angles and stuff like that. What is
actually?
Go ahead, PJ.
I was gonna say I enjoy Optical's reviews because it's like he does those backgrounds, and I'm like it's like it's like you're looking at the scene from a movie, which is pretty cool.
You know what I enjoy about Optical is when something drops.
That too. Forget about the preview.
And he scrambles, and you can hear him out of breath. And I'm like, damn, dude.
it's like 2 minutes after.
He's the first on the ground. Yep.
Yeah, even Luke Skywalker, I'm like, you know what? This is my territory, Optical, and then it drops. I'm like, forget it. I'm dropping 2 days. I'll drop it 2 days later.
Yeah. We I've said it. And Mario, you know this. And this is why Mario always gets invited to these like midnight because when something drops, everybody's trying to scramble to put a panel because it's all about getting those first thoughts out. And if you're in the Pacific time, there's only a few of us that are on the Pacific time zone where we can actually quickly scramble to put up our line. Yeah, there's only a few of us, and like Anthony from 60 Mafia and a few others. And I'm like, I will do it if it's something I'm excited for, like when the DeLorean or Back to the Future. Then I'm like, oh my god, I gotta scramble. I gotta spread the joy, right in the camera. Not like that though.
Absolutely.
But anyway, thank you so much. Let's end it here because I don't want to go over time. And what is thank you so much, Cobra Collections, for the super chat. I am not the new Hater Lauren. There's only one, and if I find out it's a 12-year-old girl or in I find out being catfished or
Hater I like that name.
Oh man.
You know my pain. Let us explore it together. Each man hides a secret pain. It must be exposed and reckoned with. It must be dragged from the darkness